Yalla, yalla. That's right, infidels. It's crazy thinking, just knowing that the world is round and I'm here standing on the ground. Stevie, are we right side up or upside down? We're going to find out here on the Friday Locker Room as we've got all the infidels lined up to flip you upside down with the crazy headlines here at patreon.com/Hamin Media Group, Ben Hamin channel, and twitch.tv/Hamin Media double broadcast. Yalla. Yeah, man. Just back on a little rock and roll this morning to kick us off, man. Dave Matthews, the sweet sounds. And I know some people have got a little stress and they're here in the chat room hoping to be entertained. And I'm sure we can bring the funny and bring the pain at the same time. But always good to be back with my big brother, Big Stevie Cool. How you doing this morning, buddy?
I'm good. Your voice sounded like mine in the very beginning. Very raspy.
Gotta clear. Let me clear my throat as I'm on the Dominican coffee this morning. Get that pumping through our veins so we can get through all these headlines. But
look, I'm going to start doing the Triple H finger point in front of huge garage gyms that I get outbid for. I'm going to do that today when I see this one. But that is a 1,221 square foot garage. Which would be a hell of an upgrade on about 3 acres on a log cabin. So the log cabin is
I don't mind living in a garage.
Well, there's also a 450 foot shed, which I was looking at the 450 square foot shed for the historic home I was looking at to put it on the property. But you know, it's insane. We were talking off camera about obviously housing and everything else is starting to catch up with the actual inflation. There's people talking about the gas prices and the shortages. And I think that the whole thing is a social experiment in a lot of ways. We talked about how humanity has failed every test. I mean, that trend continues today. And the whole thing about the gas stuff and people literally filling up dangerous containers like just plastic totes from Walmart and putting it in the trunk of their car.
Bro, I was thinking that yesterday. Sorry to cut you off. How many people are going to have, not just that, because they don't understand, because they're foolish idiots, that gas will eat right through a plastic bag in the back of their trunk after they get it in there. How many people will die from having a tub full of gasoline in their apartment just from vapors alone? Not let alone if there was a fire hazard and everything explodes and they're done, dude. Like I was watching World Star yesterday. There was at least half a dozen videos of Nancy Browns and morons doing this kind of stuff, reacting to the fear-mongering news where they're filling up plastic shopping bags, double bagging them after it eats through one, and then putting that second bag where it's in their trunk thinking that it's going to be safe on the way home, bro. Like I bet there was at least a dozen idiot deaths yesterday based off of the fear mongering, bro.
We have a lot of pandemics from the pandemic. I mean, those are kind of the, falling asleep in the hot tub type deaths. You know what I mean? Like those things you kind of laugh at, but in all seriousness, this kind of consistent chaos and fear teaches us how to not be happy, teaches us to not get proper sleep, not take care of ourselves, not be healthy, much less being locked down and not being able to get out, get fresh air or experience life, depression, suicide, murder, suicide. How many Benoits have happened since the pandemic that they're not reporting on? And these things from if the pandemic type lockdowns and the masking and all the theater ended today, we got a good 5-10 years of damage that we need to undo. Not even mentioning that the youth of this world are completely maladjusted to anything because they can't go to school and interact with other kids or learn stuff. And then you talk about what I'm making it worse. Then you talk about what they're being indoctrinated with is more this than ever. You know what I mean? No critical thinking, no critical anything. So we're the last of a dying breed with what we have here.
Shout out to Zach in the chat room, brother. Manale and Was Fazin. Hopefully you're having a good Eid too, brother. As shit keeps popping off, and a lot worse than we got to worry about the housing crisis or fucking whatever they're forced thought they're trying to try and put on us, man, with what's going down in Israel and Palestine and people losing their lives because colonists are behind a Zionist regime, and it's all a front load for a Cold War between U.S. and Iran, but no one wants to get to that point yet. Well, you think we're beyond this post 9/11 of neighbors trying to wipe each other out with rockets and this kind of shit just to further the divide, and it's fucked up. It completely fucked up. There's plenty of Palestinian friends as well. And then I don't want to say, even just saying the word Jews is like the Jews. It always comes off as like a fucking punch in
Alex
the face.
Jones or David Icke or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. It's, there's so many people on both sides who are so beyond it who just want to love each other and have, a brotherhood because we all enjoy the same shit at the root level. But when a Netanyahu's who's on his way out and war just happens to break out, and then,
well, it's on both sides too, because the Palestine leader, they haven't had elections. They're supposed to have an election for the past 16 years or something, but they keep getting suspended. And it looked like this leader was going to lose. So once again, false flag. Let's cause the distraction. The same thing with all the people starting to uprise with a hyperinflation pretty much here, housing prices, border crisis, other things. People still looking for stimulus checks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
This happens and we all forget about it, much like a 9/11 type thing, but so far on a smaller scale. I will say this. I'm old enough, obviously, I was old enough to save JFK and kill Lenin and Stalin and all these people, but I'm at least old enough to remember as a kid in Philadelphia, it was 1978 or 79. And I was with my dad and his Chevy Impala. Remember those cars? The green leaker. But in Philadelphia, and anybody in the chat room or listening or watching, in Philadelphia on Hunting Park Avenue, there was like a BP station or something. And I remember waiting in line for an hour because we had the tag that the even and odd number thing was happening with the license plates. You talk about socialism, like right there, the bread lines, basically gas lines.
Right.
And I remember waiting in line with my dad, and I was terrified. I'm old South Philly Italian father, so I was terrified of him. So the hour felt like 5 days.
Right.
Because he would not talk. He just sat there and like muttered about Jimmy Carter. But I think back to that time and I remember the same thing with government cheese and bread and welfare and all the different things that were happening in the 70s, the Middle East crisis, hyperinflation, interest rates on homes were in the teens, I think 10, 15, 16%. Credit cards weren't even invented until the 80s. There were no credit cards.
Right.
So, but I want people to know if there's any hope or any kind of thing, don't be one of those people like I was tending to say, like, it's never been this bad before. No, just history repeats itself. Can we get through it? I don't know. The second trend is if it happens once and we don't learn from it and it repeats itself, it could be even worse. But this is not uncharted territory. Many of the things we talk about are, but this economy thing runs in trends and there can be opportunities. There's opportunities if you just have this much work ethic and you're willing to show up for a job interview, you make $50 and you show up for a job, you're going to get paid because they're going to be so thankful that you even want to show up in this day and age of unemployment benefits. So do it now because by September, everybody's going to be desperate and you're going to have a few months under your belt and the employers are not going to hire these people back. So I just see like there is some kind of thing that can happen. And obviously there's a riot over at Columbia. There's so many things going on. You can't pay attention, which is also something that you might just need to shut it all off. And just as somebody famously said, clean your room, just handle your shit. Cause it's all we can really control right now.
I'm kind of, even green to what's going on at Columbia. You're talking about Columbia University or
the
what?
Country of Columbia, they were saying.
I don't know, to be honest with you. I've been so and thankfully editing the Beautiful People podcast, working on Larry Hankin stuff, working on the Russo Realm stuff, hosting shows, hosting watch-alongs, that I'm almost thankful for Terrible Wrestling, which last night wasn't Terrible Wrestling. It was a pretty unbelievable AEW show, man. Really, I think their new thing is to give away pay-per-view payoffs, not just one or two, but 3 last night on TV. There was a couple bad scenes mixed in, but I just don't even want to participate in anything that comes through the mainstream media because I know how corrupt it is, and I'm not going to let the fear-mongering influence me. If there's things that are really going down in this, am I banging here? Looks like I'm slowing down.
No, you're okay. A little bit. Not
like all of that all of those things, all of those things that are just meant again to divide us and to keep us separated and going, oh, this world, fuck this world, dude. I just need to stay creative for my staff. I need to keep moving like a shark, otherwise I'm gonna fucking die in the water. So that if there's people getting hurt and killed and they're being manipulated and used as pawns, probably is probably what my take is on it at the end of the day, because the more divisive that I see between neighbor on neighbor on the same block, based on race lines, based on invisible boundaries, and then statements from governments that are so vague that it shows who they're really backing, instead of going, hold on, people, let's fucking finally talk this shit out. And who's in office? A guy that was in office in 1978 when the gas shortage was going on. So they don't give a fuck about fixing nothing, man. And I've been plenty vocal that I think a St. Valentine's Day massacre needs to happen to about 1,500 of them. And then we can actually move on. But I don't see that happening in my lifetime, man, unless I give all this up and just become a rogue sniper. So
there could be work for them too.
That could be.
Trying to think about what I was just about to say about that, man. I forget. CT kicked in.
Apologies, I cut you off.
No, you didn't cut me off. Like
about Colombia, about what's going on with the riots there.
No, it was something having to do with here. Oh, I was going to say this because we need to look at it both ways. There was no way, when you live in a world in an age of consumerism. Someone who said about the Great Depression, learn what's really important about creating your own food and doing things like that. Something needed to happen. And it should have been our choice during the pandemic to change our perspective, because in an age of quarterly profits, they always have to get bigger. Things always have to, this creates the bubble. In the age of consumerism and teaching people how to live in debt and live outside their means and do all these, there needed to be such a shifting of mindset in this world.
Yeah.
So that's where their play with the Green New Deal and the other things, even though it's a backdoor Green New Deal with all the crisis being created and planned. But there's the reason why the World Economic Forum and this Great Reset sort of speaks to people is because they're so disgusted by the fact of the oligarchy, about the corporate fascism and all these different things of there's been a redistribution of wealth on the top side to the top. And you think the redistribution of wealth these days with the government means that the poor people are going to get it. But no, Biden actually was backed by more Wall Street than Trump. That should have been the red flag right there. Not saying voting for Trump would have been a great thing. No matter who's there, the system and the way it's created and the central banks and all these other things, it could not continue like this, and it can't. And now we're paying the price. Nobody above us is paying the price. It's the people that need things to change the most are the ones that are going to be hurt the most.
Well, they're sinking it on purpose so they can problem, reaction, solution, put it in play, man. And they're doing it with slow and fear mongering and guilt. And if you eat meat, you're a racist. So it'll be used. If you use gas instead of lithium batteries and data conversion, you're a racist for this reason or whatever it is, man. And the 85s just keep going through that, man. And one guy who's not an 85 was in the house, Billy Ray Valentine, who I got to have a call with this weekend about all the new opportunities ahead for HMG and get his, expertise, man, because he's going to fit in a big way with all that, hopefully. But good to see you, brother, this morning. Hopefully you're doing well.
Maybe we can all get on the call. I miss talking to Billy Ray.
Yeah, man. I know he wants us on for his shows as well, and hopefully we can get that lined up. Oh, we got so much.
One more housekeeping thing, and I just want to kind of pull everybody here. It's StevieRichardsFitness.com. The website obviously has the resistance band training programs. I want to do a whole redesign of that. I've had it in my mind for about a year because I want to include the fitness product reviews, the home gym tours, even try to do a condensed Cliff Notes versions of reviews rather than trying to write a 5-page review, pros, cons, points to take from this. And you know what I mean? Like a rating system where you can look at it right away and then watch the video for the details. And also put some of my wrestling stuff on there and some blog stuff or event schedules if they go up. And obviously I can add stuff to the SRF store, like 8x10s and other merchandise that we create, like even those pins that we talked about with Russo, because quite frankly, the bands haven't been selling that much this year now that everything's going back to normal. And I'm just trying to maximize the hosting on that site to get the most amount of people informed with whatever they can. And obviously put all that stuff in a central hub that can be, and even for companies, quite honestly, that when a company looks at that and says, okay, this is kind of a living resume that has all this stuff in one place, and we can see if we want to work with this guy or not. So there's a double benefit to that. I don't know what you think about that. It just has to be streamlined enough. It can't be garbled up, and I don't want to, I like for it still to all be on one page, but then if you want to go to this, you can go this and say, hey, check out our resistance band programs. Then it'll bring you to the main page that you see now where you can kind of go. And I got to eliminate the steps of how long will it take somebody from like the Apple thing. How long will it take you to get inside this in the app and do what you need to do? So it's, that's the one that you talk a lot about hours. Like I always say, it can't be that much, but it'll take a week of me just writing on a napkin and then about 2 hours of actually implementing it.
Sitemap. Yeah, you just gave me anxiety because I put it in perspective of the amount of web work that I've got to do in the next 4 weeks myself from the ground up, man. But I know it looks great now, but for returning customers that it's easier to sell to. A revamp is always that because they want to see the new window dressings and the new coat of paint. So I'm sure it'll be phenomenal. And whether it's streamlined and then built out for more information, what have you, you're going to do the content creation that's going to drive people there anyway. So I got no doubt about it. But we're 43 strong this morning. Frank's Pickle Barrel Ass was the first of the Chat Room Society reviews in the house. Our man Jay Hall, Unrealistic Cliff Burton, the one Rat Salad reviews here. Sonic the Hedge Rat, Scott Woodford. Classified Chappie was in there early. As I said, RBV's here. Nobody worth to remember, so we'll forget about him. Grado Meister's in the house, live on Ben Hamin YouTube channel. Doesn't look like anybody's really checking in on twitch.tv/HaminMedia, which is fine. Mike Roche, Emily Zozo, Tuttle's our own guy up north there on lockdown, and Lion Ratton is in the house too. If I missed you, well, good morning to you, infidels. As we have the last couple of free sessions here on the Friday Locker Room, which will end up probably becoming premium content. So just not to shock you guys with that, but getting ready to start blocking things out for Realm, and it's just a lot, man. So we're just trying to chip away at it little bit by little bit here, man. There's actually El Plaja made a new some great graphics for us, so I'm looking to get those out there sooner than later. And opportunity things I still can't talk about. I don't want to name drop because nothing is signed on the dotted line or anything along those lines. But dude, I gotta say, as far as wrestling goes this week, just sitting through Raw and SmackDown, absolutely
broke up right
brutal.
there. I didn't hear it.
Sitting through Raw and SmackDown were absolutely brutal shows this week. Like 5 hours of terrible, terrible content with nothing redeemable really at all. And when there was a choice to do something, they made a weak choice. And then NXT and AEW absolutely like invigorating and renews your faith. I hate this. Like, I'm done with this shit. And then I'm like, oh, I got to watch NXT. God damn it. And then I watch it. I'm like, wow, that was pretty fucking good, dude. I'm going, how can they be doing promos outside of the arena in vignettes? How can they do in-ring promos that are actually character defining and introducing a character how it should be, having matches that are more competent in storyline and payoff than what we're having on Raw at developmental, and the look is better and everything's set up properly. And then AEW is kind of giving away main events in storylines to like pop the crowd. They started off with Moxley and
Eugene Nagata.
Yeah, Eugene Nagata, and they worked American strong style, not some dumb Japanese shit, dude. And it was very good. Then they came right back on top of that with the Bucks versus SCU. Chris Daniels got awesome color, man, like old school 85 flare color, and it was great, and that should have been the main event. And then they have spoiler alert, they have Miro go over on Darby in a violent fucking main event for the title. Like all three of those could have been the main events on each show, and they gave them all away. But hopefully the numbers stack up to justify doing that week to week. But both of those shows that I'm usually like, oh, this is what we're not getting paid to watch are the ones that invigorated me. So I guess the payday on the shit shows, I just don't understand how this 5 hours of just absolute mailed in trash where nobody's getting over and nobody's making a statement on anything or making anything memorable, man. But both those shows, Wednesday and Tuesday night, were great.
I think AEW is doing what they're doing because they announced that they're going to start letting people in and going on the road. So I think what they're doing is trying to create a buzz to draw a house. That's going to be more
They're
important.
paying off all their business early. That's the problem.
Yeah, but I mean, it'll draw you. They can consistently do it if they're bringing people in and they have these people, and then they really haven't done anything with Miro at all. So maybe this is the start of a resetting him now to some degree. I didn't watch it yet, but what I'm saying is you're now talking about very much a WCW. Yeah, of course that happened with Khan.
Yeah, that was the
I could have guessed that I didn't watch the show, but I'm saying, like, remember WCW had the cruiserweights. WCW had things that did work. Now they've been doing a lot of stuff that WCW did in the later years that killed it, and we talked about it. Could they be looking at what they did earlier with more of that variety type? Maybe they are going to go to sports based. Maybe they're looking at WWE and saying, we can, as you say, play to the height of the intelligence or draw intelligent audiences to our product and make it like an old school, even NWA type thing with blood and other things that are involved with that. I'm just saying, in NXT I haven't watched, but when you're actually bring talent in, and Hunter, for all I said about him as a talent, he really does care about those kids, at least within his ecosystem.
Sure.
I don't think he cares enough to really smarten them up, or maybe he's trying to change the culture. And he's been counting on Vince passing away for 10 years. But long story short, when you go into a locker room and you know that the management and the people within creative are supporting you as a talent, all you got to do is go out there and perform. You're not tired by the time your match comes around. That could be the difference.
That could be, absolutely, in the way of having happy workers who aren't trying to mail it in. But then
you see that when you watch the show.
Oh yes, I feel that. I feel that on both. Like, this is the opportunity. We're going to make the most of it. Where on the main shows, we were like, ugh, you can just feel it. Like, they're like, again, instead of going, fuck this, I'm sticking up for my biz. But yeah, as soon as we get the moment with Miro stepped on by Archer, this is where Khan doesn't know what he's doing, and where Miro needs to go, no, we need to go off TV with me standing over Darby. Don't step, like, this is what me getting the title change is what we go. You're not going to take him any higher.
He won the belt.
He won the belt. But dude,
and they glossed over that.
Like right after he wins it, he's over Darby. I won the belt, and here comes Archer and Jake the Snake. You're like, God damn it. But fucking do it again. I don't know what his deal is, why he can't do it. Maybe I got to teach him. We got to have some camel clutch classes. But he did. Everyone knows the one botch where he fucking goes to put it on and he misses completely, and the dude taps out. Last night he puts it on and like sits back with it like it's going to be a choke. Dude, he's got his hands clasped over Darby's face up here, and Darby's tapping out. It's not even like stiff. It's way loose. It's not on the chin. It's not under the chin. It's not pulling the head back how it should. It's just a bot. I don't know why he can't do the camel clutch.
I figured on a kid like Darby, he could do the whole sit back on his ass and bow and arrow, like pull him back to give it an extra.
Had him like that, but it wasn't on the chin to do it. It was on the face up here, and it wasn't tight. And this is the second time when the clutch should have been the way out, and it's the botch of the match.
All you got to do with that camel clutch is you shoot, pull him back. But once you're in it, you flex your triceps, and he pushes his chin against your hand.
Yeah,
that's how you do it. You don't. For anybody that doesn't know how to work that hold, you're putting yourself into it. He backs it up, he puts it down, his arms out like that, like the isometrics are working, and essentially that's all he is using is isometrics with the little hole like that, and you push your chin into his palm. That's what you do. So
and the grips that he's using aren't right either. I mean, there's 3 or 4 different grips that I use and whatnot, but it just is one of the softest things he does after that match. But he looked like $1 million, bro. He's definitely in Team B12. Tan was on point. He looked better than he has possibly ever, even in WWE. The gear looked great, and it was a good moment. But then they stepped on it right away, bro. Stepped on it.
So there we go.
Yeah, man, it was a good week. One thing we talked about that you guys can catch on Ben Hamin channel and Vince Russo YouTube channel, and I want to say a big shout out to @FrostbiteBC, aka @Mandeer666, is the animated Master Shoot Theaters. Yeah. I released episode 1 on both of our channels. I think we're going to have them up there for free, the full episodes. So maybe later this weekend I'll release episode 2 if you didn't see it on Patreon, Hamin Media Group or Russo TWC. Big shout out to him for doing that unbelievable animation off of our improvisation, man. That art, inspiring art, always gets me pumped up, and people are having great fun watching them. So we're having fun doing them still as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're just a gift that keeps on giving, I'm sure. But it's like a Better Call Khan is also another show on Russo's that you gotta catch, because that's the gift that keeps on giving too.
Yeah, last night was cool. I talked to Stevie Ray yesterday for a while, and I like getting him fired up about WWE things, because I'm like, hey man, there's might be this opportunity. He's like, and he just goes off and buries the Fed, which I love. I'm like, I'm here to support what you want, big man. Like, I just have to tell you. That show, where they're looking for treasures, and I was just like, I'm like, if you want us to reach out, because I don't want any opportunities to pass by and that he might want to do later and be like, why didn't you guys give me the Iggy on this? But he's well smartened up on everything. Again, the guys with all the underground still, it doesn't matter. Not a lot of news gets by him, but dude, he just went in on them, like, of how much of a work that shit is, and they've got all that stuff, and they're not really looking for shit, and just like how he doesn't want to work with them because it's all about them getting themselves over, and obviously his brother's there and has a spot, and he's got to toe the company line, especially for his school and to keep those doors open. But Stevie Ray don't give a flying fuck, man. He is a man's man who only wants to work with his own stuff. And it was about him going to the NRA and doing like an on the ground where Stevie Ray, that's where his next show is going to be. And I'm thinking guns the whole fucking time, right? I'm like, this will be interesting. He's talking about the National Racing Association. So like we had 2 different conversations in our mind going on at the same time. We kept saying NRA, but the whole conversation worked. But I was thinking he's going one place till I realized what the fuck he was talking about, because he's such into motorsports and all that kind of stuff, man, too. So, but last night he had Adrian Yanez on Stevie Ray TV, right before UFC 262 this weekend in Houston. Yanez, a great young fighter, man, and put some hands on his last opponent in UFC, knocked him the fuck out. So once I had seen him cut that promo and found out he was from Houston, I tried to hook that up. And it's just, those are the rewarding things after a long day, even though it's not my face on there. And it's me as a facilitator, maybe not the director in this case or the producer, but I always enjoy more than my own performance watching opportunities happen based on collaboration or being able to direct the talent and then send them through the curtain and they go and absolutely kill it with the vision that we created together. I get more out of that personally than anything else. And to have the door open in UFC and have Yanez on there to get eyes with Stevie Ray, who knows where that's going to lead. I just like those when the stars align and we can get it happening and it goes well. And that's what happened last night. So very cool with doing face-to-face with Impact. Now maybe becoming a facilitator for pre-fight hype with UFC. He's got great track stars, people from the world of boxing, and now he's going to be doing his kind of own Anthony Bourdain, type thing of where's he going and what's he doing on weekends. So all that's just great content, and MSG's doing a wonderful job handling his brand. Nobody else I'd rather have aside from myself or you handling high-end clients like that and Matt's more than proven himself time and time again here at HMG. So appreciate everybody working hard on all the individual brands that we got going on, man.
Nice. On a side note too, I'll promote it at the end. Remind me if I don't. Sal with Horror Junkyard Apocalypse is going to interview a game creator. I'm going to produce it in the background where I prefer to be, and then produce that tomorrow night. I think we'll stream it either on his Twitch channel or his YouTube channel, one way or the other. It'll be up on YouTube as a recorded show. It'll be at 7:30 Eastern tomorrow night. So when he said the time, he put an LOL after that because he knows it's like. But I'll do anything for you guys. So it'll be interesting to be in the background. And one thing that when you interview people, and you know this, and you have somebody else to count on for content, it can be stressful. I've been trying to get the assets, the videos, the photos, any links from this game creator, and Sal's been trying to get it from him, and nothing yet. I just want to be prepared and produce it as best as I can.
Right on. Well, I'm glad just to see Sally's inspired and back doing his thing with the Horror Junkyard with a fresh coat of paint, and I'm sure it'll be entertaining as hell. We'll promote it all, so you guys make sure you're there, twitch.tv/Horror Junkyard as they come back to life here, man. Rise from the dead. People asking me about the Horsemen constantly. We're trying to line up guests, but you're not just going to throw the bat signal up as much anymore. I think we're going to have special opportunities, but our own El Plaza's in the chat room right now, Propaganda Master. He made me a great graphic, which I'm kind of I'll stooge it off. I don't have anybody lined up yet, but as we are on hiatus, I'm going to do my own little side Horseman project, and it's going to be called The Lone Gunman, Stevie. I'm pretty excited about that, but he made an awesome graphic for it.
Nice. Oh, I just got the email from Sal. So see, I jinxed myself there. Out there, his keyboard was burning. So, how many headlines do we have here?
Fair amount, man. Let's get through them. MSK, the Must See Kids, formerly the Rascals, on the decision to leave Impact for WWE. MSK recently spoke with Stephanie Chase, a digital spy, and they said they were happy to leave their old name, the Rascals, behind when they joined WWE after a successful run at Impact. It just seemed that we needed to evolve to the next aspect of our careers, said Nash Carter, formerly known as Desmond Xavier. And if you want some of the best documentaries on some of the best wrestlers, they know when it's time to evolve and let go and create a new order to stay fresh. We just knew that we were in a cocoon and we needed to spread our wings and be beautiful butterflies. Wes Lee, formerly known as Zach Wentz, said, and just when a caterpillar turns into a butterfly, it never really loses who it was. It just alters how it presents itself. And that's essentially all we did. We're still the exact same guys, and still no matter what name we do it under, but right now MSK is who we are, and that's who we're going to be for a long time. I don't know, MSK, Must See Kids, you're growing into men. I don't know if you want to, maybe MSM, Must See Men. When this opportunity came, it was a no-brainer. I've always wanted to be a WWE superstar, Carter said, with the progression of our careers, the next stage. And it was just right there in front of us, and we had to take the opportunity. It bred some amazing things since we made that choice. They've done a good job presenting them. They're, super talented, athletic guys who can do, all the high spots that you want to, but they also can do great character. They were stealing the show even as the supporting players in a lot of scenes in Impact. And their other partner, who's Trey Miguel, who's still in Impact, is now making a name for himself solo while they're doing well on NXT. One thing though, this week, and I'll bring this up. I don't think you've seen it. but they're in a match with Breezango, who's doing business after being sent down and probably will never be on the main roster again. But in the match, they do a spot where ref gets in the way. Ref does a drop down and they go over him, and then he comes back and does a big leapfrog. So he's doing half of a high spot drill. He just missed fucking throwing in a hip toss afterwards, and having the guys feed for him, which is obviously, as we know, a big house show spot that you would never do on TV. But right after they do it, Stu Sanders, Wade Barrett, whatever you want to call him, goes, "Oh, I hate when referees get involved in the matches." So I think that was a fucking direct shot at Aubrey Edwards overdoing shit, wanting to put herself in the matches. So they did a high spot drill so Wade could get that line in as a covert fuck you kind of. But this is business exposing bad and a bad. I mean, if they want to get the rib over and it's about Aubrey, it's pretty deep. If it's not, and they're just doing get the ref over in the match, nobody remembers the finish. They remember that the ref did a drop down fucking leapfrog and got himself over, and now the ref is the most over one in the business that we're doing in this match. That was a get over match for MSK on Breezango. So house show spots, especially on a show that was very well written for TV, had me scratching my head that way, man.
Well, I think everything we see on TV lately in the past year has been nothing but buying time with house show spots to see when the crowd will come back, and then that's all the past year has kind of been is in a holding pattern.
Yeah,
they haven't done anything. I'm not talking about NXT. I'm talking about the business as a whole, outside of your occasional cinematic matches. Has not done anything to completely reinvent the business and get new eyes on it. That opportunity is long since gone. Now you have the opportunity to basically, let's get this thing reset the way we should before football season. I mean, the NBA is sort of like so woke now that the ratings are so down, but you have a opportunity, especially with Monday nights, and then, well, there's no Thursday night because you're not going to go head to head with Thursday night football, but you have the opportunity to present something different and gain viewers while no football is on. I don't think anybody thinks like that, though. Like you said, I think everybody's just doing house show spots to pop the people that are already watching in the back.
Right.
And we'd already be home after our match. So
dude, if I was in the back and I saw a ref dude fucking, I mean, it was in the comedy match at least with Breezango and them, but dude, if the ref's doing that spot, they're calling that in the back, I'm going, what? Why did this get on TV? Why did nobody age? I mean, how far are we from doing Bouye openings for 5 minutes in the Thunderdome? Like there's things that, and fans might not know this, there's just things that are completely reserved for house shows that are not on TV that make it the circus fun show that have been going on for 60, 70 years that never make it or should make it to TV because it kills the reality and the business of what we're trying to do in that very precious TV time. Right now, that referee was the most over one coming out of that match, and that's never what you want on TV. Like that, we've all seen when Hebner beat the shit out of DX, right? They feed for him. Like that's what's coming up next. You don't want that on TV, man, for sure. As MSK, a Mexican gang, that was BTK and MS-13. You've got your murderers mixed up there in the chat room, but that's fine. But yeah, man, those guys have tons of charisma, and I wish they would have done something more stonery with them, but they're not. So
well, when you call yourself kids in the title of your name, you're already pigeonholing yourself to go up there with real men. You kind of
that's a weird pedophile name too. We must see kids. I don't I don't need to see kids.
I can see Vince teaming him up with Velveteen Dream as a joke, as a rib.
He was backstage supposedly and hasn't been at the Performance Center in like 5 months. So does that mean, like, what's he look like? Is he working his ass off? Is he on the B12 diet? Mia Yim was also supposed to be backstage at SmackDown and didn't debut. And then Keith Lee putting out these cryptic tweets. I'm not even going to go back and read it. We talked about on Next Level, Ray and I did. But he's standing in front of a War Games cage saying you can be the machine and go forward, or sometimes the wheels stop and this is the end of your ride, or some bullshit like that, which means to me he's back in NXT full time, which is a death kiss, man. And also I can't see the office going, put this tweet out there, which again, they've learned nothing from going into business for themselves and not really trying to support it and do these like, I have the passion and this is my time shit. When the office isn't behind them, they go, oh, is it? Oh, it's really your time? Okay, you're off TV for another 3 weeks because you're fucking stupid tweets. And it's the same as his fiance in retribution going, I'm not a terrorist. Don't compare us to terror. Oh, you don't want to protect your business? You want to do hip hop poses like you're on Double XL magazine in front of some cars and show that shit instead? Okay, then guess what? You're off TV. And at least Mason T-Bar, well, I guess T-Bar stands for trans rights. If we remember that.
Working out for you.
and now where are we? They just still don't understand how to play this game fully, bro. And everything that they do with those little, even Tamina on Iconics #1 on these talking smack shows. Don't you see my passion? This is my time. I'm here to grab the brass. It's like an audition to be on the TV show you're already on, proving it to who? By screaming, it's my passion, because somebody backstage goes, you got to be passionate about this. You got to want it. You got to show them that you want it. And they don't know how to do the promos or find their own voice in order to support their business. Get that over. So it's just one, like, here's the opportunity for you to fuck it up, and they come through every time with flying colors and doing the wrong thing.
That's equivalent. That Keith Lee tweet is equivalent to when somebody puts up on Facebook, fuck this, and they're like, what's wrong, hon? Sending hugs and all.
Yeah,
these passive aggressive type cryptic cries for help or cries for attention. And I like Keith. Keith is somebody that does have money written on him, but somebody's got to be telling him the mystique is where it's at. When you don't say anything and when you're just working hard and doing whatever and taking like an opportunity, maybe I should get myself in shape. Maybe I should lean out a little bit, but still be a big son of a bitch. I mean, this is
the way to play it, is that right? Lose 20 pounds, show up at all the practices for even the beginner and amateur classes, and show in mid-level classes, and not say like, oh, I've been sent here and I was over and I was on.
Don't stand out, in other words. Just let your presence show. Yeah.
And because word is going to spread that, dude, Keith Lee's down here doing high spot drills. He's dropped 20 pounds. He wants it. And
he kept his mouth shut. That's what's the most important.
Can't sell it at all and make them think, okay, this guy does want it. That's the only way you can get over with them. Am I wrong in that?
I think so. I didn't learn that lesson. They saw me sell, not to a point where I was putting up tweets or doing things like complaining. I would just ask for guidance, and that was enough to get me heat. Isn't that something in wrestling? Like, let me know what I need to do. Coach me hard. Tell me. Am I just, and they would fuck with me that way. You're too big. You need to lean out. You're too lean. You need to gain weight. Even one time, Stephanie said to me, it was so funny because they ran out of bullshit excuses, because I would come back like at least a week, maybe a month, if I need to make a body change. And trust me, it was natural, and it was killing my adrenals and my metabolism, because I was doing all these different things to make quick changes that were natural, but they were unnatural, because taking isopure shakes and intermittent fasting and then traveling. But Stephanie said to me one time, because I said to her, I said, hey, I've done all these different things. I go, what more do I need to do? I'm honestly getting a little bit frustrated, because we don't quite know what it is, but it's just something. Thank you for your expert analysis. That's your the head of creative right there.
It's something. I don't know what it is. I can't give you any real direction of where we need you to go. Just to fuck with your head to see where you're going to go with from that. And a lot of these kids who've done the point with her husband don't understand how this game is played at all still, because they are more worried about a vanity metric tweet, an Instagram post, or a TikTok dance that undoes everything, instead of playing the game properly. If we just had Keith Lee losing 20 pounds and he posts a picture of his arm and fucking one word, just Lee or something. I don't even know. Like we come up with 50 things and lead them down that road, like then they're going to bite on it. But those types of things of the ride has just begun, or is this the end of the, like, they're going to see that and go, no, it's the end of the.
I'm not even smart. I'm a pretty smart guy, and I'm not even smart enough to know what that means. If you think most wrestling fans are going to even understand what you're saying?
It shows how fucked up they've got his head, though, doesn't it? And they love that.
It does. I mean, this is
even a Mickey James knows how to play this game after they send her the shit in the garbage. So then it forces the hand of Game and Steph and McMahon to apologize to her in public when they're not. They knew the whole time what they're doing.
Laughing about it.
Yeah, but Mickey knows how to play the game in order to use that power to get over on them, dude. And that's probably the only time they ever really respect her.
Don't think that that they aren't playing ribs on each other by saying, "Hey, could you bring me down that report on this and that?" And they bring it down in the trash bag. Oh, got me there. Like, they don't think they're not laughing about it, and don't think that won't show up on TV one day. That someone will do I'm surprised Daniel Bryan, when he lost the match on SmackDown, that Roman Reigns and his guys didn't bring him a trash bag full of his stuff.
Sorry, I gotta cut away before I fucking forget this. This is something completely different. So last night, in the kind of lull where the show didn't have all these main events, Cody cuts.
What the fuck is that?
Cody cuts a promo in ring that's so SJW, bro, about how he's fucking motivated.
Bring that back up again.
But he puts over that he's got a baby on the way, mad bills to pay, but that his daughter will have both white and black identity and know her racial identities and be proud of it. Then they cut to a guy in the fucking crowd with a white guy with a Black Lives Matter shirt on, bro. Like, as cringe as it could fuck. And he was tearing up, and I believe his emotion was real. But dude, it took it from wrestling conflict to SJW fucking just. And of course, Brandy puts it over as, that was the greatest moment ever, and I can't wait for one day to show it to my child, to show what an epic moment this was in the history of our business, while he's just fucking completely selling for race and like double racial identity, instead of just being like, my daughter is going to be the future of America with two, interracial parents, and I'm going to blur these lines. We're just about being humans. Nope. It's about fucking Cody Rhodes is out there talking black pride, bro. I'm going, whoa.
Well, there could be a bigger story to that, because he's obviously talked about running for Senate here in Georgia, and the state is about to flip it completely. So that could be identity politics as well.
Yeah. Dude, it's just she's not going to grow up with black or white pride. She's going to grow up spoiled, entitled, and fucking thinking that she's a star from age 4, bro. Because
can I ask you a question?
All the pictures to People magazine, they're selling all the fucking shit that they can to reality show, bro. Go ahead.
So if you care about so much that's so deep and everything like that, why are you putting the People magazine logo on your nursery pictures and talk about people and this and that? I mean, I do my little influencer talk. I'll give the people are always asking me what the bumper plates are, what the machine is. So I started to put that at the bottom of my post. Plus, I like giving credit to,
El Plaza, with a great pun this morning.
Well, I wonder if the kid's going to be, if you're going to say, Mike, I'm 100% sure. Stroller by whatever, baby onesie by this, milk formula by this. Like, isn't that kind of pimping your kid out?
Of course it is. It's the Kardashian model.
I didn't want to use pimp because the kid has dual identities. I don't want to say no goldfish high heels or anything,
Pimping somebody out in a scene to me is not like having them on the corner. It's like pushing them into the light. Like, you're going to do this. You're going to do this, that, or the other, and just to pluck those strings, cut to a white guy with a BLM shirt on, giving the fucking black power fist. It's just like this is how absolutely clueless we are to the perception of how people view us. And we're taking a Kardashian model where they made billions and have no real respect from anyone on the planet. And everyone looks at them as complete sick freaks and who are nothing but fame whores and real whores as well. From marrying Kanye to doing whatever Hollywood gay mafia wants you to do to go from an Olympic star to a fucking trans governor, runner up. It's just a sick bent reality of them trying to twist something and for a dollar, at the end of the day. So they're caught in this own bubble of their own making, which they'll make a shit ton of money, but they went from Kardashians to fucking The Hills to which was the worst thing for our society, shows like that and normalizing Jersey Shore and that type of shit and making celebrity out of it, to Teen Moms, to now whatever the Bellas are doing to rip off the Kardashians, and then this to Ms. and Mrs. And this is the fourth or fifth iteration trickle down of here's the system on how to sell out your complete pregnancy, the birth of your kid, Jay-Z and Blue Ivy, all that fucking shit, bro. It's stomach churning of, is there anything sacred that you won't sell out inside your own family for this much celebrity for people who don't matter at all?
Well, here's the funny thing about that. You can never, ever, ever be woke enough in this day and age. They're starting to eat their own. So by him saying dual identity, black and white, and they called the baby a girl. Well, isn't that, Congress is trying to pass all these things about a men and a women, happy birthing parent day, no Mother's Day, and babies. It's not a girl or a boy, it's a baby.
She's supposed to be proud of her black identity heritage, and then what? She's going to hate herself because she's from the Southern at the same time. So she has to look at herself as half a race.
That protest.
Like, what does that statement even mean? She's going to be a proud black woman, but we're going to put her in the Ku Klux Klan too. Like, where are we going with this? How extreme are we going to go? Oh no, you have white pride. You are an Aryan, and what does that statement even mean?
In other words, just put humanity back in human beings and just go from there. Right. It's easy enough. By the way, I gotta see, how come these fucking cats can't make me any money? How come Odin should be money? How come a picture, let me bring it up, you can talk and then I'll just show it on here, because how in the world can this cat, I'm going to put the people logo, I am seriously going to put up on social media. Like, go ahead, I got to see this. Put him in his bed now. Like, how can that not draw any money?
He's absolutely got money written all over.
Hold on a second, I've got another one here.
Like, I love also the
Christmas edition. There he is. He's walking by. The Christmas edition. How can that not have a People magazine in the bottom corner?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also like the fact of we're living the high life, fake Atlanta, Hollywood life. But don't forget, I'm the grandson of a plumber. I have work ethic. Well, I'd like to see the last time you snaked a fucking 2-foot shit out of a toilet, and then we'll fucking talk about work ethic. I did hear they're gonna. The baby's middle name may be Starscream, though. So that'll be
good. I wanted to, who knows? Do you identify as a Transformer? That would be amazing, actually. I would be all on board with that. How come that can't be on the cover of People magazine? On Home Gym Monthly.
I think it should. You just got to put the People sticker on it.
Yeah, that's all. Listen, I was going to start doing parody promos with Dr. Stevie, talking about the dangers of B12 and just do all this cryptic shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, anyway, Odin just walked by me. He said,
Dr. Stevie and Dr. Kitty could be fucking good as well. I think he can get upgraded.
It's true.
Sammy Guevara addresses rumors of heat between him and Impact. Back in February, it was reported there was a creative dispute when Impact and AEW star Sammy Guevara allegedly refused to work a few singles matches on Impact TV to further collaboration between the two wrestling promotions. During his recent appearance on Wrestle Stink, Guevara was asked about those. He said, a lot of stuff was said, but it's just business at the end of the day. I know I didn't really say nothing out there, and all this stuff, reports that came out only coming from one side. Some of it wasn't true. I really don't want to comment too much on it. It was what it is, and I still wish everybody the best. We're all friends, and we're all just trying to succeed at the end of the day. Dude, I don't know about that answer, man. I mean, I don't know what happened or what went on, but I also listened to a K100 clip where it was about Jack Evans, and Conan's putting him over as super talented, but the guy's just unreliable on making a time and unprofessional with that. And he goes, and one time that everyone's waiting on the bus ready to go, and they're waiting on Jack Evans and Sammy Guevara. And these kids are young, and you have stupid excuses. But he's like, Guevara's excuse was, oh, Jack Evans was supposed to wake me up so we could get to the bus on time. This level of entitlement and thinking of where you are and whatnot, just that to any veteran who's tried to get even remotely close to being on TV, and then these kids who the guy's got money written on him. I'm not saying he doesn't, but then go, I'm bigger than Impact and I can't do business or I won't do business. And then, D'Amore and them unleash hell on the internet a little bit to fucking bury him. And then he doesn't come over the top and go with a real excuse, and it still even looks worse. I mean, the karma's going to come back around, bro. It always does in wrestling, right? That this is a setup for a big fucking FU to some degree, in my opinion.
It's really amazing and funny as I look back, and when you're in the moment or you're there as a young wrestler, and it's explained, it was at least explained some rules and some ways to navigate yourself in a wrestling locker room or the wrestling culture. But it became a little fun. Like, you never want to be the last one on the bus. That was like a game. If you're the last one on the bus, you get ribbed, but you don't get ribbed hard. Or they'd be like, oh, like, and you know what I mean? And it's and if you kind of sell it like, you're really upset, or, oh, come on, guys, they're going to give you twice as hard. Sometimes I heard stories where if you're last one on a bus, you got to buy the beer for the boys or do this. But these things are like, when I look back, I'm like, they're little checks and balances to keep you honest and keep you respecting others' time and stuff. Or if you're late for pre-tapes, you're going to do a job tonight. There's things that happen when there's no consequence to this stuff that actually make the business a little bit enjoyable too. Nobody's picking on you, or, and even at times where I was a little stressed, and that stuff would actually make me laugh. Okay, well, they're fucking with me, so that means they don't hate me. If they don't talk to you, what's that?
You got to sell it. You got to get on the bus when everyone knows be like, what are we waiting for? Can we get this thing going? Like, you know what I mean? Like, is the past like to be able to accept the heat with a smile, get a fucking line in, and know that you're the butt of the joke. Instead, this is, he forgot to wake me up, like, past the heat on excuse. Like, you couldn't look more of
dude, if that happened, then you cancel every one of his wake-up calls at the hotel. You try to disconnect the alarm clock. These are the things the boys back then would do. Okay, you want somebody to wake you up, we're going to make sure you sleep late every day. Like,
if you're 22, 23 years old, you should know that you're the young boy, and they're all going to be looking at you, and you should be the first one on the motherfucking bus.
Not really, because this young boy is making six figures.
And isn't that the issue? And also the opportunity to be the guy from Impact who crosses over to have these matches and have the spotlight on you from the other company to carry that torch. And you're going to pass on that opportunity for what reason? And
here's the funny thing. There's a lot of funny things in it. Conan will get heat for telling the truth about Sammy Guevara, what this kid did. It'd be like, why did you say that? Well, it's the truth. Why would Conan lie about that? And I'm sure Conan said it. You can't do that, man. And maybe he got a little lip back. I don't know. Maybe not, but it seems like the pattern here is that these kids have an answer for everything, and they're always going to get the last word, which is exactly the opposite of what you should do in wrestling. Even at my age, if I'm working for somebody and maybe it's not my hill to die on, it'd be like, all right, cool. There's probably certain things, even with Russo, where Russo will give the last word to us, even though we have input. And it's like, okay, cool. We don't keep, you know what I mean? He runs the Russo brand. He's our boss. We work with him, but it's his company. So we respect it. If we get it at 49 and 40 some years old, younger than me, if we can check ourselves, why can't this kid who's making a lot more money than we are to be in this spot?
And why is there no big brothers to school
There
him?
might be. We've talked about Arn and Dean Arn and Dean and these other guys may have pulled these kids aside. JR's talked to kids and they've ignored them.
Yeah, or we're going out and fucking said, shut the fuck up. What's the Bucks buddy there who fucking came back over the top on JR? He's like, wow, bro, wow, how clueless are you?
But you know what? The kids are running the candy shop. I don't even want to say the inmates are running the asylum. These kids are running the candy shop, and they also have access to the cash register. So you have these old seasoned people that can really further the company. It's like Children of the Corn. If you want to really say what it is, Children of the Corn, where the kids run the town and the adults have to be scared of the kids. Is that sort of the gist of this?
Yeah, it's a strange thing in the until you grow the fuck up and shut the fuck up, you're not going to know it or until you get stung by it real hard, man. But interesting. There's so much money written on them, but to miss those opportunities and now have people say, he's dangerous in the ring because of the Matt Hardy stuff, to have this of won't do business. Like, I don't know, man. Like, hopefully they grow up, because that's immature. Hopefully somebody who is, I know is growing up. Hopefully he's not throwing up. But on last night episode of AEW Dynamite, Inner Circle interrupted Pinnacle's coronation and doused the Pinnacle with a little bit of the bubbly in order to get a rematch. They got their rematch, which was, but MJF challenged them to a stadium stampede match. And if the Inner Circle loses, they must disband. Same match as last year. But absent from the show was Santana. In a promo cut earlier in the show, Ortiz said Santana was in jail because MJF had him arrested for using a fork in blood and guts match last week. But Seltzer says he's simply taking precaution because he was currently sick due to the pandemic stuff. So he's home, not feeling well, probably pissing out his ass like I was last week. They were great at blood and guts. But last night, dude, here's one of the things and why they didn't put this at the end of the show. They should have had Miro in the main and then left 10 minutes for this. They fucking roll in a Kawasaki mule towing a goddamn little wagon behind it, and Sammy's on top, and they've got the spray gun, dude, and people are like MJF's cutting the promo. Jericho will never be here again. Meanwhile, Jericho pops up in the angle they got. You see Jericho on camera while they're like, he's not here. So they ruined the surprise like out of the gate from bad camera work. Not that it was a huge surprise, but the Pinnacle's in the ring, dude. And then they try and redo the Stone Cold with the beer thing, except the hose has got half the power, if not a quarter of what Austin's did. And Sammy's there with a little fucking, it looks like he's playing shoot the clown in the mouth at the fucking carnival.
The water spray. Yeah.
And they're all trying to sell like they're getting hit like, fucking 1960s when the cops would unload on people with the fucking fire hose and you see him get wiped the fuck out. Dude, like way overselling for not enough water pressure, or it was supposedly champagne that they were shooting at him, the bubbly. And it was just like, so, and MJF goes, you're never getting a rematch, never, da. All it takes was for them to roll in, spray them with a water hose, and then MJF then recants and says, yes.
Give me more money. Give me more money.
Yes, you can have the match, but if you lose, then you have to disband forever. I hate these things where it goes from no in a scene, a tiny bit of stupid action, to yes, you can have your match. So all we got to do is show up and spray MJF with a hose, and apparently you and I can get fucking world title matches, bro.
So it's like Jedi mind tricking them with the spray. Oh, by the way, isn't that racially insensitive? If you're thinking back to the water cannons of the 60s, wouldn't this be offensive to the woke mob?
It should be absolutely.
Okay. Yep. And also with gas shortages, if they're coming in with a vehicle and wasting gas, isn't that bad for the environment?
It was bad, and there was actually a pump in back that you could hear that they had to try and talk over some.
And they're stressing the electrical grid with the box trusses and the lighting.
They should have just come out with squirt guns and super soakers. They
should have a radio show. There should be no cameras, because that's going to be e-waste one day.
That's true.
See, also, you're right. You say it. This is a big spot that could have been memorable, much like the beer the beer bath and all that stuff, but they half-assed it. They probably didn't even do any tests earlier to see what the spray would be and how powerful it would be. I mean, it's a shoot, man. You're going to get knocked over with a beer cannon or the milk cannon.
Mhm.
You're getting water. You're getting beer, and that was really beer. You're getting beer up your nose, in your ears, in your mouth. It's going to be what it's going to be. You can't fake that. So that's kind of what they did, though, right? They faked it.
Yeah,
it was
a Johnny Come Lately version, a reference to that, but it's stripped down. It looks like we didn't have the budget to really do it at a high, so you're getting the memory of it, but people are like, well, this isn't as good as Austin's was, and the cells are phony because the water pressure isn't as much and not really taking them out. So, and the fact that you're a monster heel who says no match, and then 2 seconds later you recant only to go, but you have to break up. Well, dude, we shotgunned this whole business with, in 5 weeks, they made the Pinnacle and had him in a War Games payoff match. There's only one place to go after this. Like, they had a year's worth of business to do, done in 5 weeks.
Well, I see them all making up and being a group of 40 people called the Inner Pinnacle. Don't think it won't happen.
Yeah, pin a circle. Yeah, man. So that was rough, and at least I guess Ortiz wasn't there to have to be a part of it. So,
yeah.
But why they did that before, and I think they shot that at the end because after that we have Miro's match, and there's no, they're not slipping and sliding. There was fucking water everywhere, which was a stupid place to put that. So they either shot that ahead of time and put that in there because the ring was completely, back to normal within 10 minutes after that.
We never addressed the Tony Khan promo in front of the cage where he was all rolled up and he just kept talking. And it's like, dude, get to the fucking point, please.
Yeah. I mean, it's just more exposing cluelessness, even though that was fan cam. It wasn't shot by them. Yeah, dude, just him having to come out and have that spotlight. I'm the one. Why wouldn't you send out a baby face to fucking put that stuff over with a great message and help get them over? Even if it was them being like, you know what, you guys, I'm going to give you guys a refund. I want you to make sure you got your dollar's worth, whatever, to get it out. But it's just more glad handing, and I saw the NFL schedule for the Giants come out. I don't know about his team, but I'm super pumped for the Jacksonville Jaguars to bet against them all season long, because if you make 15 bets, you're going to win 10 of them if you bet against them, right? Although I did see the Giants schedule in our Monday night games: Kansas City Chiefs, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So we'll be betting against the G-men on both of those, man. That'll be easy money nights. But
hey, all he does is win. Chivo time. And I can't wait for I Me My from Tony Khan, because Tony Khan's got to be like rock hard when Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp and Pat McAfee mentioned Tony Khan's name.
Dude, that's all he cares about, right? Or standing there on the sideline looking like a coach, where all of these little self-serving things that are going to happen. And if they're so woke, I'm surprised he didn't hire Kaepernick instead of Tebow.
Oh, there's a big debate. That's racism. Didn't you know that?
Of course I know it.
Okay, just checking.
Let's see. John Silver on who could be AEW's Dark's next breakout star. Silver says
the masked person known as B12.
Yeah, B12. Right off the bases, I'm not sure. Sorry, this goes on and on. I think Griff Garrison is who he's talking about. And that's the kid who's with Brian Pillman Jr., who was pretty impressive on the Brian Pillman dark side of the ring. Brian Pillman Jr., you really come off feeling for him and connecting with him and looking at his mother in a very bad way of the gold digger stripper that she was, and probably an addict and all that shit. It doesn't paint her in a good light, but it definitely you connect with him. But he says everybody has potential when it comes to coming up. You have to find yourself. There's people that are fantastic wrestling wise, absolutely great, but you have to make sure the crowd relates to you in a way. That's a big thing of it. If the crowd doesn't want to cheer you or boo you or care if you're in wrestling, even if you have great matches. He says Powerhouse Hobbs, Red Velvet, and Bear Country and others are all people that could be breakout stars. I agree, but Bear Country buried themselves in not protecting their size when they were on. There is money on those guys. John Schuyler, he also puts over as well. People are putting him over as the breakout dude, but that's because he's gone into business for himself on these AEW dark things and being the elite, would rather do Waka Waka comedy. Does he have an interesting look as a little fire plug with big arms and the beard and charisma? Abso-fucking-lutely. He stands out. But you're in a crew that's supposed to be the Dark Order, that's supposed to be, Scientology and mythic. And instead, because of his antics and wanting to go into biz for himself, that whole crew is done. I watched the promo last night where they're backing up Hangman Page, and Colt Cabana's in the way back, like it's a deep shot with all of them standing around Page, and Cabana's in the way back sitting up high. But Cabana's in character and putting over what's going on, as he will, and he's doing a good job with it. But I'm going to myself, there's your fucking money guy. There's the guy that should be stepping up to take over Brody's spot. There's the dude who can fucking get almost anything over if you want it comedy, but do it in an interesting way that's going to keep the integrity. Now it looks like Dark Order's just cheerleaders for Adam Page, who's not even in their group, and the guy who's fucking should be in the forefront or highlighting this dude, they're not doing it the right way. It's still about Adam Page holding the beer like fucking Julian from Trailer Park Boys, man. Just missing out a lot, That's it. Sorry, there's one. This is TV's Tim Gilby in the chat. Our own Timbo Slice. Rob Rage played Steve Austin in that. Rob Rage, a super nice heel, like most are in Canada, but a guy who's got 1980s muscles. Ultimate Warrior. He played in the Legion of Doom one. He's in a lot of these. As when they do somebody walking away in silhouette and you need a big jacked up guy, Rob Rage has really been hooked up with them. And I want to get him on for a one-on-one to talk about his experiences with Dark Side of the Ring. Good dude, man. Good worker. Yeah. Oh, sorry, but any thing on John Silver kind of going to biz for himself, or the lack of Colt Cabana being highlighted?
This Dark Order thing has been turned into kind of like a comedy act anyway, mostly because of what they do on being the elite, which I don't watch, by the way. This is the whole thing that's broken with the creative process, that they assume on AEW Dark Elevation and the main show that you're watching the YouTube show.
Mm-hmm.
Much like people on Raw and SmackDown assume you're going to watch the Chronicles on the network to see what the talent is like they had the Damian Priest one. Oh, catch the Chronicle on the network to learn all about Damian Priest. I was like, he's been on TV for 2 months. Shouldn't you have been teaching us about him before he came to TV? Well, my God. And the John Silver kid, I mean, this is our kid that's making money, and he's got a spot on TV, but what is he doing? And once again, why are these guys? Hey, I'm very resistant at this point in my life to do interviews talking about myself or trying to take any mystique away. Mm-hmm. I don't know why, but it's just like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying.
But there's a thing though, like you came from comedy crews and you're the breakout guy. So I don't know if there's anybody better to speak on this than you. And even to go back in other crews with Right to Censor, but Meanie is Meanie. He's identifiable. You're in the Flock with Raven as a second in command and a kick around. Nova gets his shot as Simon Dean. But really, Stevie Richards is the standout star who becomes an individual, even if it's at Stevie Night Heat level or to get repackaged in a Right to Censor. So you've always been in a crew, and there's just something obviously natural charisma wise meets opportunity to get yourself over. You're not going into biz for yourself, but you have always been the standout one that starts at a lower part in the B player in the scene and eventually becomes the A player in the scene.
The thing about that is, I think it's just within your makeup. It's not, has very little to do with wrestling.
Okay.
I've never been comfortable, nor am I right now, or nor neither one of us or Vince or anybody who we align ourselves with business wise is just not comfortable. Like Meanie, for everything that I love Meanie, and Meanie is always going to be the Blue Meanie and always going to be remembered as the Blue Meanie throughout wrestling history. You're going to know who the Blue Meanie is from PWO or even WWE, the JBL stuff, whatever it might be. He has his place. But the thing that can create is too much comfort, being too comfortable with that and not looking for always kind of staying ahead of everything.
Well, that goes.
In other words, if I was always comfortable with Big Stevie Cole, I would have never cut my hair and did the right to censor.
Right.
If I was always comfortable with the right to censor, when that was over, it's like, can't do, instead of saying, making myself available. And if I wasn't uncomfortable and looking for the next thing or looking to always, and this is improving my body, improving my work, improving promos, just saying, okay, if I'm the guy that puts everybody else over, let everybody on the roster want to work with me. I'll have a job.
Mm-hmm.
Let me be the guy that gets this kid ready for TV and I'm his first TV match. That's still months and months of regular work. And then when that happens, I have a niche there where it's like, okay, we got this guy here. And then when I don't like that, I'm okay, my time's being lost here. Eliminate that 15 years or 17 years of Stevie Richards, mm-hmm. and let's make Dr. Stevie work and never look back at that.
Right.
And create that from scratch to see if it's going to, and go for shit money and take the chance that you're never going to get the raise, which I never got the raise. Okay, not making money in wrestling. So let's try to reinvent ourselves outside of wrestling, whether it be in technology, fitness. When technology didn't work, I have a foundation to be a one-man production crew with the fitness stuff. That's where Meanie just kind of, and like I said, it's a choice. And like I said, he's always going to have a place to be remembered, but I wasn't that type of person that was going to rely on the past or nostalgia or the wrestling business in general. I want to push past all that. Even having somewhat of an ownership with the Realm Network with Vince.
Right. But that pops me because here we are with MSK saying, you got to switch and evolve, and the butterfly from the caterpillar is still the caterpillar with different
wings. I'm not bragging either. I'm saying that there's a complete, we always talk about, hey man, well, we have better off not knowing all this shit going on in the world, and just be a little bit happier.
But I put over, can I shave my beard and evolve? And you and Vince say, no, you're not shaving your beard. You're not.
Well, that's yeah.
So I'm pigeonholed. Me and Meanie are in the same boat, man. But there's nobody better to talk about that than you. You've definitely been able to switch while keeping the Stevie Richards name. That a lot of guys got to go from one thing to something else completely with a new name. You go from Taya Valkyrie to Frankie Monet. You get to go back to fucking square one and start over again on a new character. That's not evolving. That's just fucking switching from one to the next of trying.
And then when she leaves, and she's got to start over with Taya Valkyrie when she goes back to Taya Valkyrie. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with any of the other stuff. There's a certain madness associated with the way my thought process is too. Always waking up, trying to stay ahead and trying to do things like that. And that's what Frank puts in the comment. Thank you for that. But at the same time, I don't pay attention to the noise either way. By keeping my head down and knowing that in my mind, I'm not that over. In my mind, I'm not that successful.
You were never
keeps me hungry. What's that?
You were never last to the bus in the morning.
I wasn't, because I got up at 3 a.m. and worked out. Okay. But then again, it's just a lot of these things with these kids is they're too comfortable. And the world and society, it's not just wrestling. This generation is too comfortable, but also they're missing out on an entire opportunity for the most empowering feeling, failure or success, of knowing that it's all up to them. Terrifying, but also very exciting.
I love where you're at right now. Let me come right in. I'm going to come right back to you. Damian Priest was told he would be done if Bad Bunny angle failed. Damian Priest sat down with Sports Australia to discuss current run. Priest said he's been thrust in a lot of big spots since being called up to the main roster, including his teaming with international celebrity Bad Bunny at WrestleMania 37. I said, yeah, it does give me confidence. I knew I had to put in the work, so it gave me the opportunity. I will do on my end. It goes both ways. I think we both delivered, so we brought an audience a product worthy of them being entertained and happy to watch. I hate these fucking, we brought them a product worthy of, like, that's so corporate and takes everything out of it. Priest also touched on the positive energy within the WWE locker room, long considered a cutthroat environment. It's now a great one, according to Priest. He says the easiest part for me was getting to work with Ultimate Pros. These guys are good at what they do, so they made my job easier. Wow, this goes on with more glad handing, but I don't see the part where it says if you fuck this up. Oh, here it is. A lot of people were honest with me and they said, listen, you can't blow this, because if you do, you're done. All I said was, you're giving me an opportunity. I'm going to do everything in my abilities to knock this out of the park. What does that even mean, dude? He does a complete choreographed entrance that is absolutely ridiculous. And now that Bad Bunny's gone, he's in with Miz and Johnny Drip Drip. And that's one of the most cringe-worthy segments on Raw this week, in pre-tape and afterwards, where he's shooting pantomimed arrows at the Miz. Dude, if we're seeing that and feeling that way, and they told him before, Bad Bunny, if you don't get this over, you're done. What happens when they don't get this over with guys they do trust, with Miz and Morrison? Like, if they're telling him that, they're already thinking that this guy, if he fucks up, he's done, because we don't really see much on him, and there's nothing much in this big Busby Berkeley Broadway entrance that we've come up for him, because the money's just not there. Like, if they told you that 2 months ago, they're not going to turn around and go, he got it over, he's our guy. They're already still thinking of, how can we get this guy out of here already?
Yeah, why would you say that to this guy? I mean, if anything, you should say that to the people that are training Bad Bunny at the Performance Center. What's Damian Priest have to do with his performance? Think about that. Oh, if he can't wrestle, it's your fault.
Right. It's a test. It's just
not Matt Bloom or Sarah Del Rey or anybody that's training with this guy, Adam Pearce, who worked out with him. That's a mind game. I think they're trying to motivate him in a way. I think the guy does have money written on him. I mean, if you look at him as Punisher Martinez, he was a big dude, but he was soft and doughy. I mean, no matter what way he did it, he got his body in shape and he has a look.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he's a guy that I really wouldn't have had on the microphone, because that sort of makes him look smaller. His voice doesn't match the imposing figure that he is. I would not have a guy like that talk. And I would have had him come in as a heel. I would have him beat the shit out of Bad Bunny after they won the match at WrestleMania and laid him out and said, did you know what I mean? What heat would you have then? Like, because then he's off TV afterwards anyway. That's how I would have presented Damian Priest moving forward.
I think that Aztec Warrior, like, if we're looking to break into Latino markets, that's a dude that people want to live through. And he's a cool guy. You just got to make him Bad Bunny's right-hand man, whether it's a not security thing, but, like, you know what I mean? Like, in that entourage.
Well, he's from New York City, Hell's Kitchen Underground, and you're not presenting him that way.
Well, that they always shoot invisible arrows in New York City. This is bad news on when John Cena's Peacemaker TV series will release. It looks like on HBO Max will be in January 2022. His character from the Suicide Squad. You ready for this still, Stevie?
I saw the trailer for Suicide.
Did it? Dude, that to me looks goofy as shit out of the gate, bro. That looks fucking, as Conan would say, JoJo.
That's without the color grading, cinema, and shooting at 24 frames a second, right?
I get it, but you're just walking around with a fucking 3D printed half mask on that looks like every generic superhero thing that's come out in the last fucking, I don't know, 10 years. Like, dance for me. Dance for me.
He's the next one up after The Rock, right?
Yeah, dude.
Hey, don't think you won't see maybe Rock Cena 2032.
Possibly. You very
You're
well,
talking
very well
about
could be.
two different generations of wrestling fans will just vote without even thinking about it. That would be it. I
Globally.
mean, you also could see Jacob's Mana in 2032.
Is that going to be the new Jacob Mana? Is that the new?
Well, that's my last name. So.
Where do we want to go here? Helen Marilise is in talks with WWE.
Oh, thank God.
Well, actually, this could be decent. She is the first American to win a gold medal in women's freestyle wrestling in the Olympics. So, hopefully maybe there's some Kurt Angle opportunities there, women's side. She said, yeah, actually, I was approaching 2016. I had some really good conversations. They kind of explained to me what it was going to be like and talked about the Performance Center. I have a couple of teammates, quite a few teammates have gone out there. Just didn't feel like the right timing. I knew I wanted to come back and do another Olympic circle, and I don't know if I would fit in to that world, to be quite honest. It's a cool world. I have friends in it, but I was like, I don't know if I can do this. Fellow Olympian Gable Stevenson has shown interest in WWE recently as well. Says, I definitely don't want to get hurt. That's for sure. The acting, I mean, it's one of those things, right? Same with MMA. Just because you're a good wrestler doesn't mean you'll be good at these things. So until you go and see it for yourself, you just don't know. Interesting, kind of not burying them, but this phony bullshit isn't for me, as opposed to Ronda Rousey, who this is my life now, and it's so great being with all the girls, but $15 Waldorf salads and being on the road for 3 months changed that pretty goddamn quick, didn't it?
I think these well, obviously Olympic wrestling, unless you're paid by the government, is not really going to be a profitable venture for you. But I said it before, there's an adjustment no matter what you do. Like I did the TV show Heels, which is still a secret. We're not allowed to talk about it, even though they post every day. I didn't exactly enjoy the process just because I was so beholden to I'll use a Vince McMahon. I was so beholden to the live wrestling thing, which there's pressure involved, but it felt like less tedious than what I experienced. I was like, this is like all this time and all this stuff and waiting around and standing here and shooting the same thing 9 times. And like, I'm standing and I'm like, I'm exhausted. This is like, can't we just do it all in one take and just set up 6 cameras like they do in wrestling? I mean, not saying it's bad or good or better or worse, but for me, it's just like, it didn't feel like a very productive use of my time, but I'll take their money.
Sure.
And they don't like it when I say that. Like, well, just like wrestling.
In wrestling, the performers, we get the spot right or we don't. And it's up to the cameras and production to capture it for recap. We're there. Everything's just a meticulous because they can't get the spot right because they're actors and they're not used to constant action and being in the moment. And as live performers, everything has to be set up to do it where you can go, I can hit this. You guys just be ready and I'll give you all the camera shots you want as long as you're set up the right way for it. So that's just the meticulous taped nature of not being a live performer, and a professional like you are.
Well, I wouldn't say that. These people are professionals, and dare I say it, their job is in my opinion, harder in a way because it drains your energy to shut it off, turn it on, shut it off. But also I'm looking at it and it's like, because my wife had asked me, there was something, and she said, you can still do it if you want to do it next season, or what we're talking about season 2. And I said, I don't know. And I go, number one, to be a stuntman wrestler for a guy that can't take bumps, who's playing a wrestler, just mind fucks me already. When you just like get the wrestlers to play, get the wrestlers to do it and just teach them how to act a little bit. But at the same time, acting in itself, even in a wrestling sense, and I know I'm going off on another tangent, in a wrestling sense, because now I've been myself. Stevie Richards has essentially become Michael Manna in a way over the, you know what I mean? Playing a part I could do, but it feels so phony and it feels so fake and it feels like a lie to me when my whole presence and my brand is authentic in me now. It feels like it's just not natural anymore. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's not the professional. They're not pros. I don't want to say that as far as production wise, because obviously they're on Bravo and have that behind them. I mean, as live performers of I can get this on the first take. You guys just be in the right spot so we don't have to waste 6 hours. Imagine if shows were shot that way to some degree, how much more we could get done and less. We gotta make sure you hit your mark here in this way. If the production moved around it instead of the actors moving around the production, be interesting. But that's why it's taped. And
they call me stunt wrestler number 6 on set. That's what they were calling me.
That's it.
I didn't even make it into the top 5.
Looks like NXT is going to allow more fans in the Performance Center starting May 18th. So email notes that COVID-19 testing will be held on site night of the event free of charge. All fans will have to complete their corona testing on site regardless of vaccination status. It was also noted that no longer the requirement to receive COVID-19 test on the day before the taping. Email from NXT encourages recipients to forward the opportunity to friends and family members. Multiple NXT regulars have said this is the first time they received an email like this. It's not been confirmed that NXT is bringing back more fans for the venue each week, but they're offering the chance to attend tapings to more fans. The email also fans must be over the age of 16 unless accompanied by guardian and must provide photo ID when checking in just to keep them away from Velveteen Dream. No, I added that part. The rapid ID
racist too?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. The rapid antigen and temperature tests are done at time of check and face coverings remain mandatory and going in. Is there an instant COVID test now?
I guess. I mean, we didn't get it when I was on set. It had to come in the next day. I think they call it rapid test now.
Right. But if you're getting tested at the arena before you're going in, like, isn't that just more ridiculous service?
They could have like, you go in and they have these scanners now that scan your temperature, like a little screen, looks like a kiosk.
Mm-hmm.
That could be the instant test that they're talking about. Dude, this test is, I mean,
it's all for show.
Well, let's talk about the whole vaccine stuff for a little bit, how it comes into wrestling. I know people, and you know people, I think too, that were not sick, got the vaccine, and ended up getting COVID after the vaccine. Like terribly sick, not the side effects. They got COVID after the vaccine. But had no, well, obviously we all have it because if you're not sick, it means you're really sick because you're asymptomatic. There's also another video rolling around. Someone had said it in the chat earlier. Dude, somebody putting a magnet on someone's arm and it's sticking on the arm. On the girl. He's like, I'm going to prove there's a chip in there or something. We all seen that. But I know lots of people that got the vaccine, no matter what brand it was, and got sick after it, but had no symptoms. I'm talking about younger people too. So very strange.
Well, is there some that are doped up and there's some that are placebos? Like, is there just a 40? Like those ones are going out that way with this in it, and the other ones I don't know if you will look at that World Star.
The guy in CVS.
He went up to CVS just to fucking work them with a hidden camera of like, can I see that Johnson & Johnson vaccine? I just want to see what's in it. And first she was trepidatious and then gives him the box and he opens it and she's like, no, sir, you can't pull that out. And like, why? This is free vaccine. Why wouldn't I, if the vaccine's free here, why wouldn't I be able to look? No. And then he takes it and starts walking out. They come out, code 80. And they didn't lock the doors on him. And he gets away and goes, I'm going to take it to the lab now. And I hope he does to follow up. But I love that level of civil disobedience, of breaking the fucking confines of that the people at CVS hold dominion over you because they get to wear a white lab coat as pharmacists while giving out who knows what is in these vaccines, and the fact that their response while he's just holding it and leaving with it as it's a free vaccine. So what should they have a problem with that they didn't get to inject them? Because what's he going to possibly expose? They should just be going, fuck it. It's free. You do what you want with it. You know, I mean, obviously you can't be out selling them on the streets.
That's actually not free in a way, because when they do those vaccines, they surely get paid for each one when it's logged. So it's all the medical mafia type shit. If you administer the vaccine and you're in there, you're getting like when COVID people were going into the hospital or people were just generally going in the hospital gets a certain amount of money for a regular death.
Right.
But you get like $13,000 for a COVID death. So you get like, I think you get 4 or something for that. And don't fuck anyone. I had a lab coat in this Dr. Stevie thing.
Code 80.
Actually, Dr. Stevie parody promo pushing the vaccine could be pretty good too.
It'd be fucking phenomenal. Like, what if you were Right to Censor Stevie with a lab coat playing Dr. Stevie, but you had the underlying thing and it was all mixed in there? I think that'd be great.
I'd like to be walking down a hallway with people writhing in pain and say, like, we've had so much success with the vaccine, and it's just and they're dying. It's like,
this thing is working perfectly. CM Punk, a guy, this is a close personal friend of yours from the show Heels. CM Punk takes a dig at Vince McMahon while responding to Charlotte Flair, former WWE champ. CM took a subtle dig at his former boss Vince McMahon while responding to a tweet from Raw superstar Charlotte Flair. On Wednesday, Charlotte posted a picture of herself doing commentary on this week's Raw, asking fans to caption the photo. Punk responded to the following: "God damn it, pal. Watch the monitors and stop saying wrestling, pal." So maybe we'll get Punk on Master Shoot soon enough if you want to reach out to him.
I'll check on that.
Good. I mean, I can't because he blocked me. Also, Hamin Media Group blocked by Joey Janela last night after putting out the video to where I tagged Triller and Dylan Bostic saying, "Hey, can we get this fight to happen?" I heard on the last Rip Rogers episode that Janela needed money to get his car fixed because I guess on the way to AEW a few weeks ago, his car just like completely broke down on the side of the road, which, it's interesting. If you got a 6-figure contract, why your car's fucking them. And I think JR even got a dig in on the cars in the parking lot, saying if they would have done this, they'd be driving big cars, not rentals and things along those lines. So I don't know if that was a shot on Janela, but right away after Janela had called out Bostic saying he was going to fuck him up on site after Bostic stooged off that AEW only paid him $80 of the $200 he was promised each night. So he made $160 instead of the $400. Janela tried to be a company man, said, "I'm going to fuck you up wherever I see you get booked, but doesn't matter because you don't get booked anywhere." Well, karma comes back around, doesn't it? You don't fuck with one of the sons of Rip, especially if he's in the right after getting shorted by the billionaire $240. So want guns, got guns too. Like
why are you gonna? If you're gonna beat somebody up, it means they're telling the truth.
Right. And then when you say you want to get the fight on Triller for the undercard to make money, you bitch out and fucking pull all the bullshit moves. Like at the end of the day, man, like I know there's nobody on the roster who's going to fuck me up on site. So I'm far glad and happy to say whatever I want to say to you eat these words. And then the action of blocking HMG, that's his choice, but it's exposing. It's business exposing bad. And why not just fight the guy on Triller for 20 grand?
Who's this gimmick attorney guy? He's a patent and a trademark attorney. The Costco of trademark attorneys, gimmicattorney.com. I guess he does all the Janela got the bad boy trademarked. You might want to look into this guy.
Well, Cody Rhodes might want to call him because Cody Rhodes abandons trademark that he's been fighting for. As noted earlier, AEW star Cody Rhodes, using his father's Dusty Rhodes moniker of the American Dream, is in a match against Anthony Ogogo, which they announced that. I'm like, is that the boxer guy? I think so. And he actually said he's 78% blind in his left eye. That's interesting. But
who is?
That the dude, I think, is Anthony Ogogo. I think that's the dude from the UK who's doing the boxer thing over there. He was like an Olympic boxer. It might be. I'm pretty sure he does like a one and done punch in the stomach, which is not good. But however, Cody will be wrestling under the moniker despite not legally owning the trademark. According to Heel by Nature, Cody abandoned the trademark, filing for the American Dream on March 31st, since he couldn't provide sufficient documentation for outstanding issue to the USPTO, which had his application. The report noted that Cody had been attempting to trademark his father's moniker for the last 2 years, but ran into several roadblocks. Here's the USPTO's statement issued. One sec. The application is abandoned because the applicant's response to the to the final office action dated 7/10/2020 is not completed for the following reasons. In this case, the applicant did not, 1, raise a new issue, 2, resolve all outstanding issues, 3, provide any new compelling evidence with regard to the outstanding issues, or 4, present analysis and arguments that were persuasive and shed new light on the outstanding issues. Additionally, the applicant did not timely file a notice of appeal, and no time remains in the response to this period. The report added that Cody could be using the name Double or Nothing to fulfill the request of the USPTO to show the moniker being used in, quote, entertainment services, specifically live appearances and appearances made by a professional wrestler. He could reapply for the trademark at a later date. So I guess if you want to come up with a reason to be the American Dream, you could go through all those reasons and maybe take it from Cody and then turn around and sell it to him if you can win that.
Are you inside my mind?
I just got to figure out what American Dream storyline I can come up with this way. So interesting as we keep fighting. I know Ryback's still fighting WWE for his stuff and trying to get the check mark on Twitter. I don't know how WWE has gotten that taken away from him with, 310 views on 1,000 views on a video. It's not like he's not a made guy. It's interesting of what the law firm inside of Stanford can do to prolong this kind of stuff, man.
That's all they're doing is trying to starve. They just have full-time people on retainer in that building, and they can afford to starve you out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Somebody who didn't get starved out but got knocked the fuck out last night, bro. It's pretty scary. If you want to go back and watch AEW, one of the matches that was the filler after these big main events was in a match that never should have happened. And here's a reason why, because the guy's a comedy spot and he should be used sparingly. But we have Pac versus Orange Cassidy. Dude, Pac hit him with a power bomb, and fucking Cassidy was OUT, bro. He was out cold, and they were looking to throw the X up and call it. Cassidy rolls out to take the fucking count out, and it was originally supposed to go for a 20-minute draw. And of course, there's business afterwards with Omega coming out with Callis to step on that business. But dude, about 13 minutes in, fucking he is out cold, takes the rollout, rolls back in. They do a false cover, and it's just like, just throw the X up, bro, and fucking let somebody else pull the time. So, I mean, major CTE level fucking knockout, bro. It was pretty nasty.
Well, I don't know what to say.
The Orange Cassidy should be a quick appearance where out of nowhere you open the closet door and he's sitting there. He's fucking underneath, he's underneath the ring on something, and it's the Where's Waldo game that he should be playing, not pulling 20 minutes with one of your top fucking shooters, bro, because that exposes your shooters as not being able to put away a gimmick guy. That's just bad booking in my opinion.
That's not what knocked this kid out. I just saw a little clip of it. The kick friggin' got him. I think it was the kick.
All right.
That's the exact thing that caused Bret Hart to be fucked up by Goldberg. The exact spot. Run off the ropes and get kicked in the head. If you look at this, I'll send it to you in the chat. This kid got the same exact bump that Bret took. Side of the head, the temple. If he's not,
the power bomb didn't help him, bro.
No, the power bomb could have folded him, but this kick that I sent you in the chat. It's in the article. You got to scroll down a little bit. That's the Goldberg Bret Hart kick.
Yeah.
You see how he got kicked him right in the side of the head?
The gimmick's not popping up. There, I got it.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then power bombed and he folded him. So that's irresponsible there too. I hardly ever. I mean, I did it a few times. I did it with Okada and a couple other people, and super kicked them every single time, aiming for their chest, not wanting to sweep it and kick them in the head. That's the kick, right? The kick looks like what it did.
There's that back kick where he's not looking where he's placing it. He's just throwing it up there, and He doesn't get his hand up, and he feeds for the power bomb, and then I think that second shot didn't help him at all there, bro. But hopefully Orange is all right after this, and I hope they learn a big lesson that you don't have to wrestle to get over when you do these. Less is way more with Orange Cassidy, and also a guy like Orange Cassidy being able to keep up with Pac for 20 minutes to a draw is the complete wrong thing for Pac to look fucking strong. Good. Oh, concussion kick. 2 left. Here we go. And the heat's probably on me on this one. Renee Paquette fires back at critics of Anon Verk's WWE Raw commentary on a recent episode of Wrestle Stink. Some guy sat down with the Oral Sessions host and author of new cookbook, Messy in the Kitchen, Renee Paquette.
I want to stop here real quick.
Yeah.
So before we change the subject, I don't want you to just pick it up where you don't have to reread it. You showed me that girl spot in AEW where the girl is stomach down on the turnbuckle and she comes to, and she could, dude, that's the thing. Not only is it just dangerous, even if you're going to take it on your stomach and kind of fall down, you're still landing in the corner of the ring that's hard. Also, okay, the way they did it, the back, she's coming down on her back, so she hyperextended her back and her spine. She could snap her in half. If you survive that, the way she landed is blows both her fucking knees out in the corner of the ring. And then I saw the dude in your group that you were arguing with, which I didn't even know why there was an argument about it. Watch her knees. Look at her left knee.
It's not even a pin either. Come on.
She probably picked her up and whipped her off the ropes. So, you know, when someone's trying to tell you how safe it is when they've never taken a bump and they're trying to passively say like, you know, okay, whatever they've done, you know, or just the excuses of the, you know, the passive aggressive, like, yeah, there. I mean, all right. Keep doing it. I don't care.
It doesn't bend that way, dude. And they're like, the one dude, and I didn't want to go in on him. He's a shit.
That was dark, right? That wasn't even
dark. Okay. There's this shindy worker dude from fucking New York City. You know, I don't. Are you a wrestler? Well, let's see. The whole fucking thing that you're commenting in is named after me. You couldn't even click on my profile to see who, you know, go through some pics and see for yourself who trained you and because I can't expose the secrets, but you should watch some foreign wrestling and maybe you'd understand a little bit more. Oh, is that really what I need to do? Shitbox overweight indie worker from New York City. Please school me more on how to fucking work safe and that's fine. You go, and I could deliver that to you and you'd be fine. Well, first of all, fuck all if you ever fuck off if you ever tried to call that shit in the back to me. Then you're gonna lay across the top and I'm gonna fucking hit you with it. Don't worry, Okada does it and it's fucking super safe.
Or Shibata, who fucking had a brain bleed. He knows how to work.
First of all, fuck you and learn how to work. And second of all, do even 2 seconds of research and see who trained me and how I fucking work. And I'll get over waving a flag 10 times more than any fat fuck who thinks they can go off the top rope safely at 400 pounds and try and hit me with that. You're a clueless indie fucking mark who has no idea what safety is. And if you mark out for that shit, that means you're a New Japan dick sucker who thinks that fucking shit is the proper way to do this art. It absolutely is not. And then the guys coast to coast like butter and toast or whatever island you fucking want to go to work. Anybody who puts somebody face down on the top rope to hit them with a senton that's going to bend their spine the opposite way to go, you don't give a shit about the person who's in the ring with you, protecting them, even putting them in a spot where something could go terribly wrong, where they could be paralyzed and never earn again in their life, dude. That shit to me is unbelievable. I mean, we'll add whoever to the Hamin media discussion group, but the ignorance of these backyard wrestlers who get to work with Tommy Dreamer one time and think they're fucking over for the rest of their lives. Holy shit. It's embarrassing that they're even in our industry, bro.
I'll come back in with you. And if the question you're posing to him or the challenge that you're posing to him isn't enough with whatever credibility he thinks you don't have, explain it to me.
Yeah.
Explain it to me then. If you're somebody, or do I not have enough credibility, enough of a career, enough matches, enough time in every company in the world that's ever existed up to this point?
Mm-hmm.
or went defunct. Call it what do you want? Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me that I'm missing something with this, that I'm not seeing the nuance. I'm missing the safety element. I'm missing the work aspect of this. What am I missing? If ignore Ben, tell me in the group, what am I missing? How am I wrong? Or am I just an old man that doesn't get the current product? Guess what? I never want to fucking get that product. I got hurt enough just taking regular bumps and taking regular moves because I worked 200-300 days a year. If they had to work that often, that would stop in a hurry.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it's just more guys who are clueless. You know what I mean? I love who are you a wrestler? How long you been wrestling? Who trained you? Do a little fucking research when you're in my house. It just makes you look so ignorant and so clueless and such a mark for yourself, thinking that you can do this shit. Oh, dude, I can't let the sauce out. That's how they do it in New Japan. I know how to do it.
What would happen if that person was sitting in a seminar that I was at? That's the question I would ask them when they told me that spot is fine. Who trained you?
Yeah.
All right. So their wrestling school needs to close down immediately. I don't care who they are. Even if Rip told you that, even if Rip would never tell you that, but if you told me Rip, it wouldn't even be anybody who thinks that that's okay. Any agent in the back that doesn't come and say to them, and once again, we go back to before. Maybe they did say it and the girls flipped them off, just like whoever kind of like visually with a look or the head shake basically gave JR the middle finger for his advice.
Right.
I hate that because as much as I've told stories about certain agents that I really didn't appreciate certain disrespect they gave me, it didn't mean that I didn't give them the respect that they deserved.
And they didn't come to you and go, dude, you need to go make sure your spine bends the other way while he hits you with this just so we can get him over. But they did do it with Chris Masters of lay it in there and fucking this is your shot, bro. So, you know, just asinine conversations that aren't even worth my time.
So I said we're in two different places right now. You're still in the place of frustration and it really gets to you. And yesterday we had a discussion before Russo of how frustrated you are. And I'm at that point. No offense. I care about each and every human being in their own way, but there's too much going on in the world right now for me to worry about these fucking idiots.
Right.
Go ahead and do it. Congratulate. You come back to Gorilla, thumbs up as you're bleeding from your eyes.
And then next week when they do it again and thinking that they did all right and that's going to be their new spot and one of them is the female Darren Drozdoff. Good job, guys. Keep going. Everybody keep doing what they're doing. That was fucking awesome.
That's the part where you're going to be such a pussy and you want everybody to be you're being so like heartless about this when you say, I told you, I warned you. Okay. And then the next match after that goes out and tries to do the same thing. I see that happening. Like there could be a potential draws thing. And then they'll go back and the next match will have an even more dangerous spot. It's like
Draws got paralyzed on less than that.
He got paralyzed on a running power bomb that just kind of like D'Lo didn't get the footing. The bump, from what I didn't see all of it, but they said it didn't look like I've been dropped on my head the same way, which makes me extremely lucky. And everybody else that's ever been dropped on their head. You're just
and meanwhile, what's his name in Taz's crew? Ricky Stark's broken neck off of a fucking suplex, but we're gonna allow green ass girls to fucking do this shit that never should be done in a wrestling ring because some dumb fucker in New Japan tried to normalize it for the indies and the marks to make that a spot, and now they want to steal it because they saw that and they think it'll get them over. And people are going, Ty Conti's a judo and fucking Brazilian jiu-jitsu practitioner.
Well, go wrestle in that UFC then.
That's the first thing they teach you in Brazilian jiu-jitsu. Go to the top rope and try and do a fucking senton on somebody's spine. That's day one-ish.
Let me give this a little bit of I may be a little bit inaccurate with this, but I don't believe I am. Didn't Misawa die in the ring from built up neck and spinal trauma? And then that one time that he took the bump he was just done. He was wrestling with this kind of injury, trauma, whatever was degenerating in his neck and spinal column. Am I off with that?
No.
And then the bump in the ring just
is what got
that
it.
was it.
The trauma of going that one and just the nervous system shutdown, man. Ben Cody's Factory is putting students on after 3 months training at AEW TV. The Julia girl is 3 months out and on TV already. How about this one then? You know, she's a and I can go in on the I'm that bitch with the Jade Cargill shit, which is terrible. When you look like her, she shouldn't be that bitch. She should be an absolute pro. She puts out the tweet yesterday. So many people mad because I've never had hardly any training and I've already got 4 matches on AEW. I go, I mean, that's
Isn't she a baby face too?
Well, she's that bitch. That is the most clueless, unself-aware, showing me that you have no idea the business you're in or the people that you're dealing with. Because now, if you fuck up one time, whether it's a spot botch, whether it's hurting somebody or getting hurt yourself or fucking up a promo, that tweet is going to be evergreen. And I would want to retweet it on every botch that she does to go, hey, she's good at this. She's never had any training. I'm surprised that happened. As good as she is, you can't fucking flex tits and go, everyone's hating on me because I never had this, but I've already got a bigger spot than you. Well, guess what that means? Every mistake you make going forward, they are going to hold you accountable to an nth degree instead of staying small and fucking and doing it the right way, bro. That was one of the most tone deaf, like set up tweets of like, dude, they are going to eat her alive with every little mistake with this. That shit should be tweet, apologize, dive, repeat, so it doesn't come back to haunt her, because it absolutely is gonna.
You know what I would do? Just within the framework of we need to stop this before this person becomes a monster. 20-minute draw.
Yeah.
You have a 20-minute draw, and I would not put her with the person that could lead her to a 20-minute draw.
Yeah. Oh, well, you're going to do business exposing bad.
What I'm saying is I'm not trying to hurt anybody, but this needs to be, this girl could become a real problem in the locker room, and we need to, that's just the way I look at that tweet. I don't, she could be a nice girl, but she's getting too much kind of excitement and cockiness too early. And it needs to be, because you can't quite explain it, but if she can experience how bad she is, that could make her better in the end. That's what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. It's a tough test. It's a bad lesson to learn. And you just hope you get out of there with no injuries. But at the same time, this would need to be really nipped in the bud.
I will say, though, that I've never seen anybody get a parking lot cleaner with a power washer. You know, like there's something to be said for that.
This is a successful business model, because now what are you going to do when you're looking at the wrestling school? You're going to go to what's AR Fox have a school here in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. I think Curtis Hughes still has one. Mm-hmm. Or are you going to go to the one that you pay $4,500 and 3 months later you get the wrestle on TV and you get a check?
And an NBA business.
And you just keep providing. And if they get hurt, this is the NXT on. Here's, I'm going to date myself. This is NXT on 78 speed on a record player. Like the factory is just churning them out. These people will be done by the time they're 25.
You can't, dude. The guy's got car payments and his dream car to pay. You can't. Once you get them through the 3 months at $4,500, you got to get more at 3 months for $4,500.
Well, because you know what? I mean, the wine cellar is not going to pay for itself.
Oh, good one. Renee, she says, let's see. Mr. McMahon, earlier this year, Kat invited Vince to her podcast. She gave him not at all. No, he did not get back to me. No response, but I do have his email. I got his email too. If you guys want Vince McMahon's email, feel free to pay me $500. I can get his phone number. I got that too. I kind of push pause on that a little bit because I've been busy. We've had so many great guests, but what I would love to have any McMahon on the show. Any McMahon's welcome on my show. I get Hausman Paquette talked to if she would have Vince on her podcast. She pondered the idea and came up with this answer. I guess I would talk to him about some of his visions that he has for things, being able to pick his brain. I mean, being able to sit in production meetings with him for a year plus and getting just to see how his mind works and trying to understand how his mind works. I think I would have a lot of questions about how he runs the shows, even from the commentary standpoint about what his vision is because good God, is that ever a hot seat to be in? You had an opportunity to be in production for a year and you still didn't know. Okay. Let's see. I'm just looking for the fucking thing on Adnan. So current Raw play-by-play commentator Adnan Verk has been trending on Twitter frequently with fans criticizing his performance in the new role. Paquette was asked what it's like to receive largely praise from fans these days and to be away from similar criticism. He says it's humbling to say the least. It really messes with you because it's not like when I went in there being like, I know what I'm doing. I didn't know what I was doing. They asked me to come in and commentate on Monday Night Raw. So what am I going to say? No. Yeah, say no. No, of course, I'm going to go do my best and try to figure it out. I'll give credit to WWE big time here is that they let me stay in. Everything that I had done at WWE that point, people have been so gracious to me and the fans have really been cool and accepting of me. So that's been awesome. I stepped in there and it's like, actually, we hate you. I'm like, no, that's not what I wanted, but you got to grow. You got to try things, and that's fine. It's tough to be in a position like that. It's tough to feel like you don't want to do a bad job. I don't want to do a disservice to a story that's being told on television. Everybody's putting in so much hard work. So everyone wants to do a good job, and everyone's really mean to everyone on commentary. Give the guy a break. He's figuring it out. It just sucks. There's no way around it. Also, everyone just lives in the frame of, oh, we just are JR and we want Jerry the King Lawler. People want what they're familiar with as much as we crave change and are looking for change. We're also freaked out by change. Wow. What a politically fucking gray and blasé answer is. Her husband's being recruited back to go back there and she left on all good terms so she can come back in. She's an affirmative action wife hire for Moxley, who doesn't know about our industry, who, because she's married to a guy in the biz and has been backstage to WWE fans, that's all the credibility. This fucking sickness of putting people out there to sink and then keeping them out there at the expense of your product instead of hiring a Timmy Baltimore, a Rob Sanderson, one of the many, well-seasoned with 20 years under their belts announcers that should be getting a shot at that. Instead, we're just going to put out some pretty little skirt who doesn't know a fucking wrist lock from a wristwatch, or we're going to get this guy who's got the affirmative action Middle Eastern higher name that we want with the white fucking sounding voice that's going to be socially acceptable, who doesn't know, as the babyface straight man, doesn't know how to get heels heat over and is calling them the well-oiled machine while burying New Day, only to expose himself to have to get buried by Corey Graves, who does know what he's talking about because he was a former worker. Like, it's just sickening that they make these choices and give these opportunities to people who have no business aside from being on the other side of the fucking railing as fans that are now getting these shots, man. It's stomach churning bad.
The business's main model is to just pop Vince and Bruce. It's just a rib. This is house show type behavior. You know, we're going to put a commentary out there that sucks so we can pop the boys, not get the boys over. You know, listen, even when you do have a Timmy Baltimore, or more notably or more recently, a Pat McAfee.
Sure.
Look what they've done to him in 4 weeks or 3 weeks. Okay. This guy's the hottest thing in podcasting. He's as hot, if not hotter, because he got cooled down after the Spotify deal. Rogan. I think McAfee's hotter than Rogan. McAfee, the NFL wants him. Fox wants him. Probably sure. CBS. What, the NFL Network. You get him because he's trying to obviously kind of go the NFL Fox way, but right. You have him on SmackDown because he's a mark. And what we saw in the past week or two is you take that passion away from him. And when I watch a Pat McAfee show, he's got it. He's having a good time. He's doing his thing. He's moving around. I didn't see that on Throwback SmackDown, which should have been the most fun SmackDown that you could do, right?
Right. That he should be the fan there that he is, reliving the Attitude Era days to get that over. Instead, they totally broke him on that show. That was the show where it's like, dude, the McAfee with no sleeves saying what the fuck he wants to NFL quarterbacks and doing that real talk shit with Aaron Rodgers. There wasn't even a glimpse.
He sounds like he's turning into Michael Cole.
Oh, absolutely brutal. And then to roll up doing the Vince impersonation, for WWE.com. Just, bro, it's just kind of like, it's sad that they can break a guy in that amount of time, man. And for what? Because that doesn't get your product over more. It makes it look like shit. Him coming in as a legit sports star, being excited about it, is the draw to bring in football fans. Now, if they see that and they see the Pat McAfee that they know from Barstool as compared to what went down when he was in his Adam Cole fucking angle, night and day, bro. Of one is organic, believable, and cool. The other one is, this guy's a marionette puppet dancing, and it's fucking sad. And then put these guys in there who have no credibility and don't even know how to call wrestling and don't even know the guys on the rosters, the moves, or how to be a straight man to get a story told. The fans have every right to go, this is Mike Adamle all over again. 100%.
Here's the problem. Here's what they don't understand. They think that Pat McAfee is going to do the thank you tweet after they're finally done with him, or he's done with them more accurately. You don't think this fucking guy will get on his show and say, man, I used to be a wrestling fan, but I'm going to just tell you how fucked up it is there, and that this asshole's in my ear. I used to respect Vince. You don't think that's going to damage your product? Now he's going to talk about how uncool it is and say, I don't give a fuck, because he realizes by saying that, his fan base will only be more loyal to him because he's keeping it real.
And he'll be on.
Dude, I showed up. It was great. And then by week 3, I'm like, they're trying to mute me and tell me I'm just like the NFL and Fox when I did the Green Bay game. They're looking at me like, what the hell is this? Well, you want Pat McAfee, but you don't want Pat. I can 100% see Pat McAfee doing that. And guess what's going to happen? Yeah. I mean, it used to be cool. And then like Pat says, it's not cool anymore. So I'm not going to watch it.
Yep. Instead of using him to keep you relevant, you wanted to make the point that you could break him and make him fucking vanilla. Like, well, congratulations. That's not going to get you any return on your fucking.
Yeah, he doesn't need you. He's not going to make any less money without you. As a matter of fact, he's probably, like I said, he's using you to get on the NFL show.
Yeah. And you're probably going to get your shit clipped with Fox because it's so fucking low rated. So he's going to actually get back over, stay on Fox, and you're going to try and have to sell your toxic asset to some streaming fucking service that doesn't have ratings. But you'll be able to do that because you'll have plenty of awards to back it up. WWE in our final story, Stevie, as we go over 2 hours and 6 minutes, WWE nominated for multiple Faxies. Yeah, the Faxies Awards.
Is that vaccines or Vaxies or Faxies?
Faxies, the cable fax. WWE has been named as a finalist for 4 prestigious Faxies Awards. Presented by Cable Fax, the Faxies have honored people, shows, networks who excel in digital content, marketing, advertising, social media, and online content for more than 15 years now. WWE is announced as a nominee for the following award categories: overall social media presence, the WWE's social media team; social media campaign, The Undertaker's 30th anniversary; digital team of the year, WWE Advanced Media Group; and new product launch, WWE Thunderdome. The 2021 Faxies will be held via digital ceremony on Thursday, June 10th at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. You can find full details for the awards at this link. Stay tuned for more. The Faxies, more multiple paid for manufactured.
I think the actual award shows are manufactured, like we've never heard of. What was the last one?
The best, the Thunderdome. For
No. The last week's 7
yeah, there
awards,
was 17 awards that they won for.
but I never heard of the awards.
Dude, these are all concocted by Ad Age magazine and marketing magazines. Every one of those that they will win, they are probably paying $10,000 for. I've shared this before when I worked at Flair Communication Agency. Stan Stepanski. Oh no, Lee Flaherty, named after Flair, Flair. I don't know if he's even still alive. This guy was the living embodiment of Scrooge McDuck. Like everything was a tribute to him. He had millions of dollars, drove a Rolls Royce across the street from his 7-story ad agency. At Flair, he had like a brownstone. And when you go in there, the walls were lined with gaudy trophies, bro, from the last 40, 50 years. I worked on campaigns where this guy would spend $200,000 for us to develop a campaign for Stren fishing line, Corona, freeze pops as well. Some of the, Flintstone freeze pops. These were never going to market. These were just pitch campaigns that they would then pitch to Nestle or whatever, but they could get sent in for award considerations from Ad Age Marketing Magazine, and he would end up paying whatever their fee was for submission, 10 to 60 grand on some of these. So you're talking about a guy kicking $250,000 in to get a little fucking award that's a piece of crystal that says best ice cream marketing campaign 1998, bro. That's exactly what they're doing with these right here. And I don't know if that's to feed Vince's megalomania, but what are the Faxies going to fucking do for one iota to raise WWE's acumen or dollar, bro? They're now paying for fake awards so Steph can play CEO, creative marketing expert inside these marketing fucking think tanks, and they're all just working WWE for money.
Well, I won a couple awards just as you were talking. I won the Housey Awards for the most overpriced housing bid on a house. Also, I have another award. They're all over the place. Hold on.
They're everywhere. Award for best one-eyed cat goes to.
I got the my favorite award is the Knivesy Award. I got the Knivesy Award here. I accept this award, which is actually probably more valuable to me right now than the award they have, because I can at least use this. Also, I have the Gunsy Award, which I'm not gonna take that out.
I heard you're up for best one-eyed cat in 2020.
Actually, the Caddy Awards are coming up, and I'm gonna actually win the award for owner of a ginger one-eyed cat named Odin, who lives in Smyrna, Georgia. It's amazing how we're up against a lot of competition with that, but actually, also I have this book here, so I'm going to be up for the Reedy Awards. The Reedy Awards. And also, if I'm
going to need you to throw that knife.
If I wasn't a happily married man, I would be up for the Porny Awards.
Oh, dude. Just unreal fucking megalomania and narcissism to make that
the Fitty Awards too. The Fitty Awards for Stevie Richards Fitness. The Fitty Awards. The Fitty. Maybe I make a Fitty off the Fitty Awards. And then, you didn't expect that one, did you?
No, I didn't expect a good hood Fitty out of you. But I won second runner up this year in the Beardies, unfortunately.
Next year. Or next month. I don't know how often they have these awards.
Oh shit! And I'm thinking to myself, how many people were up for those against the WWE who paid as well, and they just took their money and aren't winning it. It's brutal because the layman, the fan isn't going to know how these whores in marketing operate, bro, and that they're playing right into it. And that this is even a story is fucking so laughable to me, man, after having gone through it and seen what it was before.
Isn't it the ultimate Jedi mind trick? Well, he's great because he said he's great, and then he has this award which says he's great. So I'm not going to determine if he's great myself and have my own opinion, because that award shows me everything I need to know. Now I don't have to think for myself.
Yeah, nobody worth to remember is this year's winner of the Farties, big Farty Award winner. Bernie DC, fourth runner up in the Beardies. So there's a lot of stiff competition out there for these awards, pals.
Yeah, I can't wait to win the Home Jimmy Awards.
Oh, dude. And we've won one award here for longest Friday locker room. So congratulations, Stevie.
Yeah, the Roomie Awards.
We're going to wrap it up here. You guys appreciate everybody joining us. Ben Hamin channel, twitch.tv/Hamin Media for the Friday night SmackDown DJ set. I'll be back over there. I'll be actually back here 1 p.m. with the Chris Silvio and MSG to break down AEW Dynamite review. Looking forward to lighting the fuse with those guys, man. What do you got planned for the rest of the day? I know you got houses on the mind, man. So I hope you find
the Garage Awards. I'm gonna try to win those with that.
The Porchies.
I'm not going to win the highest and bestie awards. They can go fuck themselves. So there's multiple bidders. Well, today, later, right after this, I'm going to record the home gym video. There's a cool little engineering thing that they did with the Monster G3 from Force USA. There you go. Congratulations. But there's a little engineering thing that I wish they would do with all the pull-up bars. I'm going to shoot a video on it because I really do think that that's a really cool feature on the G3. So I'm going to film a video to come out on Sunday. By the way, I get tons of messages from people, which thank you for letting me know. They're subscribed, they click the bell to get notified, and they never, ever get notified when there's a new video. So the videos come out at least every Sunday night around 7 p.m., sometimes Wednesdays with a second video. So look for the videos to go up on the YouTube channel Sunday night after 7.
Okay.
It's just fucked up that 75.3 thousand subscribers. I'm barely breaking 1,000 views on home gym videos or fitness product videos. I should be in the SEO in the wheelhouse by now. It's just
absolutely, dude. Shut down for what reason? And even at 13,000, when I got demonetized, and they tell Russo, "Oh, there's no such thing as shadow banning." Really? Then why would I go from 10 to 12,000 views a day down to 300 on average in that same exact time to be taken out of these algorithms, man? Like, their lies are constant and fucking just so transparent to see.
You want to talk about awards? They gave their own CEO an award on freedom of speech, and her entire acceptance speech was how they ban people and keep stuff. It's a rib. It's all rib.
Yep, it sure is, man. But we keep on laughing through the Friday locker room. You guys go to StevieRichardsFitness.com. Join us, man. I've been working real hard, doing cardio, doing all the band resistance workouts, trying to get ready to come back to your indies, and maybe I can win the Indie Award this year. We'll see which way we're going to go with it, man. 75K subs and 300 views, bro. That's what we're living in as content creators right now. That's why we moved to Realm. That's why we're moving to Realm, to become unfuckwithable. And you guys are the diehards, and I hope you'll follow us over there. And I know the platform's going to change from, I want to keep some free content because I do believe in free and independent thought, but there's shows like this that are premium, and we've done a lot to make it that way. And we're just not going to settle to be fucked with on their ground anymore. It's our game, and we're going to change it and mold it our way. We're going to hopefully set a model for others to follow through their frustration, because it's not just us. We were just one of the first to the dance post Alec Jones to get fucking wailed on, but we're going to have the solution, hopefully the final solution of some of these masters out there. But Stevie, appreciate you, dude. It was a great time with Raw and SmackDown review and Master Shoot Theater this week. I know there's going to be a new animation coming up that way. But please, you guys, go make sure you're getting everything off of Stevie's YouTube channel you can. And thank you for supporting us anyway, whether it's ProWrestlingTees.com, the Patreons, Hamin Media Group. I know the Wednesday Locker Room's up there for free. The Next Level Review podcast. Had a good time recording both of those and putting those up this week. Well, not Wednesday Locker Room, but putting them up. Everybody working just as hard as they can in this new media front. So we'll see what awards come our way, Stevie. But you're number one in our hearts always, infidels. It's Big Stevie Cool, Hacker Hamin. It's your Friday veteran locker room, infidels. Yalla.